Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoy. Without any further interruptions, enjoy the what if.
Chapter 21. Kurama's Choice. For my friend. A few men were crouching on different spots on the ground. They had their hands placed on the ground, and were holding a purple-like barrier. These people were none other than the clones of the Anbu commander. The man couldn't believe what he was seeing. The entire moon was now covered by dark clouds, and the atmosphere had changed totally. Only he knew what horrible battle was going on in the base, and if the chakra that he felt was any indication, then the mission was just about to be completed. He had been ordered to form a barrier by the Hokage, so that no one can find out what was happening, while Naruto performs the mission. So here he was, witnessing one of the most terrifying nights of his life. This is going to end soon, thought the Anbu commander. Rei couldn't believe what she was seeing. Could a man even possess such power? She had to immediately jump away as several layers of ice was released from that sword. The speed of the attack was immense, as it destroyed all the remaining wooden pieces of her attack. She watched in shock, as the ice freezed the wood, to the point that the wood could not be seen anymore due to the fog inside the ice crystals. Tick, said Naruto calmly. Rei stared in horror, as the ice that had freezed her wood broke and destroyed the entire wood along with it. The only thing left of the wood were small dust particles that were flowing in the air in minute crystallized forms. My Mokuden. He destroyed all of it, thought Rei in fear. Danzo had told her Mokuden was so strong that it can subdue tailed beasts, but it seemed even it had a weakness. And that weakness was ice. If it came in contact with ice, then it affects its molecular structure and slowly it starts to rot. Due to the water in the ice, and with such powerful ice attacks, she could not defeat Naruto with wood style. She felt outclassed. What had she trained for? She had a dream of surpassing Naruto. Was it really just an illusion? Was this man even a human at all? How? You should be dead. I ran the stimulation over and over again. How can you destroy my Mokuden like it was nothing? Asked Rei impatiently. Naruto smirked on hearing that. She was strong but still she had a long way to go. Susanoo. What is Susanoo? Asked Rei in confusion. In exchange for your life, Susanoo can turn imagination into reality. It is a forbidden jutsu of the Uchiha clan, which only a few have been able to achieve, said Naruto patiently. I don't understand, said Rei with a frown. Only those who possess exceptional spiritual chakra can use this forbidden jutsu. Susanoo is the power granted to the Uchiha by the Sage of Six Paths, stated Naruto seriously. Sage of Six Paths? Asked Rei curiously. Was it the name of a god? The founder of the shinobi world, the man who taught humans how to use chakra, and the ancestor of the Uchiha and the Senju, said Naruto deviously. Impossible, said Rei in shock. Even the root Anbu were shocked. There were only myths about the sage. Did Naruto really know the truth? Thousands of years ago, humanity was on the brink of extinction. A certain creature was destroying the entire world. The creature was the 10 Tails, said Naruto mysteriously. 10 Tails. Are you out of your mind? Asked Fu in disbelief. Believe what you want. The Jubi was destroying the world, and in an effort to save humanity the Sage of Six Paths took some of the Jubi's power. This power was called chakra, and he mastered it. Since the chakra was originally a part of the Jubi who was claimed to be as powerful as a god, the Sage of Six Paths received unbelievable power, one which was 1,000 times greater than my own, explained Naruto. Captain, this sounds too good to be true, said Rei firmly. History is forgotten as time passes, but there is a relic that showed me the truth, and the reality of this world, one which was written by the sage himself. Only those who possess visual prowess like mine can find out the entire truth. The sage was able to defeat the Jubi, but as it was an immortal creature he could not kill it, so he was left with only one option, suggested Naruto. He was hoping his daughter was smart enough to pick up the hint. He sealed it into himself, and became a Jinchuriki like you, said Rei thoughtfully. So he has told her about me being sealed in you, said Kurama bitterly. Naruto didn't reply, but that didn't mean he was not going to punish Danzo for this. Yes, but time passed and the sage's life was coming to an end, so in an effort to save the world from the Jubi, and with the help of his own visual powers he sealed the Jubi's body into a statue and hid it forever. He then divided its soul and chakra into 9 different parts. These 9 different beings will go on to become the 9-tailed beasts of this world. The jutsu used to create the tailed beasts out of the jubi was called the creation of all things. It was based on the shadow and light styles. The shadow style was based upon mental energies that control imagination and create form out of nothing, while the light style was based upon physical energies that govern life and were used to instill life in these beasts. The Senju and Uchiha were originally one and the same. The Sage of Six Paths was our ancestor, so while the Senju inherited the Sage's physical power and body, the Uchiha inherited the Sage's visual powers and spiritual chakra, explained Naruto briefly. Everyone was quite shocked to hear this. They were listening to some of the most darkest mysteries of the shinobi world. But what does it have to do with Susanoo? Asked Rei sharply. Susanoo emerges from the spiritual power of the Uchiha. However, in order to take shape, it uses the yang chakra, i.e., physical power of the user too, said Naruto simply. But didn't you say Uchiha got the spiritual power, while Senju got the physical power? Asked Rei in confusion. Yes, that is true. However, every human, whether they be Uchiha or Senju, possess both yin and yang. Uchiha have strong yin chakra, but they do have yang chakra in their body too, thought it is not as strong as the Senju. Similarly, the Senju also possess yin chakra, but not as strong as the Uchiha, said Naruto flatly. So how does Susanoo take your life? Asked Rei quickly. Susanoo consumes the yin as well as yang chakra of the body. Since Uchiha do not possess powerful yang chakra like the Senju, the more they use Susanoo, the weaker their yang chakra becomes, until it vanishes, which creates an imbalance in the body which ultimately leads to the user's death. However, there is one way to avoid this, said Naruto with a smirk. What is it? Asked Rei suspiciously. That is a story for another time, said Naruto with a smirk. What is that sword, and how can this thing fly? Asked Rei angrily. She's quite hot-headed, but she is trying to buy time in order to gather her strength back, thought Naruto analytically. He didn't mind Rei's pitiful efforts. Soon everything would end, and there was nothing she could do to stop it. Every Susanoo possess heavenly powers, one which are totally dependent on the power of the user. This is one of my Susanoo's powers, Hirinmaru. The strongest ice sword in the world. It not only helps me control the weather, but it also converts water into ice. As long as I have water or can convert water from the atmosphere, the power of this sword is unstoppable, explained Naruto in detail. But this Susanoo looks heavy, how can you make it fly? Asked Rei curiously. Hirinmaru decreases the weight of the Susanoo, allowing it more flexibility due to being less heavy. It also increases its swift movements, and produces strong ice that can handle the weight of Susanoo, said Naruto simply. Who are you really? Asked Rei with a little fear in her voice. I am Uchiha Naruto, descendant of Uchiha Izuna, and I possess the power of both the Uchiha as well as the Senju, because the Uzumaki were relatives of the Senju, and fortunately for me and unfortunately for you, my mother was an Uzumaki. I am the second sage of Six Paths, said Naruto seriously. Rei gritted her teeth in anger. Could she really defeat him? Was it even possible? You with your power, you could have helped Danzo-sama bring peace to this world. But you destroyed everything, yelled Rei loudly. Naruto just glared at her murderously. This was something he would never accept. All of you believed in Danzo, because you wanted to find solace in your pathetic existence. That man is a demon, said Naruto angrily. Shut up. Danzo-sama is a good man. He cares about all of us, said Rei in protest. Did he make you kill your best friend? Asked Naruto sadly. Rei's eyes widened on hearing that. This couldn't be true. Her Danzo-sama would never do such a sin. Lies. 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 Said Rei furiously. Each of us lives dependent and bound by our individual knowledge and our awareness. All that is what you call reality. But this world is full of lies. Your reality might just be an illusion. Do you know what Danzo Shimura has done? Asked Naruto sharply. Stop it. Don't listen to him, said Torun hurriedly. If she found out the truth, then they were done for. What do you know? Asked Rei doubtfully. Indeed, there were some things which she found doubtful about Danzo. The man did care for her, but on some occasions she had seen his eyes, and the devious look in them. He ran an illegal organization, in order to fulfill his own agenda. He abducted children from orphanages, and made them his ultimate killing machines. Each and every one of us is a killing machine. Do you know what is the final test in order to become a true root shinobi? Asked Naruto sadly. I don't know. Danzo saw. Had said only the strong could become root, said Ray hesitantly. She doubted. She even wanted to call such a man by a high honorific anymore. She didn't want to believe this, but it seemed the truth. The people who stayed with her in the base were more like machines than people. They never talked with her, unless she asked a question, and would constantly watch her. The only thing she learned were ninja arts, and Danzo trained her personally. If Naruto was telling the truth, then her entire life was a lie. You have to kill your best friend, the one with whom you trained, laughed, shared your feelings. You have to kill him, and become a true root shinobi, said Naruto shamefully. That's horrible, said Ray in shock. She doubted she would ever be able to do such a thing. But then she realized something that made her eyes wide as saucers. She looked at everyone with a new fear and anger in her eyes. So all of you here killed your best friends? Asked Ray in disbelief. Yes, each and every one of us killed the one closest to us, said Naruto flatly. You all are monsters. How can you do such a sin? No, you are lying, Captain Naruto. Yelled Ray angrily. Her entire body was shaking. Let me show you, said Naruto darkly. Tsukiyomi. Ray felt herself being drawn in some alternate dimension. She now seemed to be standing in a white plane. What is this? Asked Ray out loud. My foolish little Ray-chan. Ray heard Naruto's voice. She turned around, but there was nobody. Suddenly everything around her turned black and she found herself standing in a village. She watched a small blonde boy being chased by mobs, and to her horror, he was caught and was getting beaten up. He looked no older than her. Then her eyes widened in shock when she saw those blue eyes. This is my story, came Naruto's voice. She watched how some old man and a few masked men saved the boy. From there she saw a man named Kakashi adopt Naruto. A small smile came on her face, as she watched Naruto and Kakashi's time together, their plays. Was this how a normal childhood felt? She saw Naruto's interactions with his friends, their laughter, and all the warm feelings made her want to experience them too. But then they came, said Naruto in a sad voice. Ray watched Naruto train in a small training ground. She was very impressed that her idol was so strong at her age. His talent was so great. But then she saw something that shocked her to the core. She saw the intruders were none other than Root Anbu. Don't do anything to him, yelled Ray in fear, as she watched the Root Anbu attack Naruto. How could they attack a child with intent to kill? Her despair increased further as she sensed Naruto's fear, and she further watched in shock as Naruto plunged his kunai straight through one of the Anbu's heart. He killed him, thought Ray in shock. She then noticed something that made her realize the first thing which she and Naruto had in common, the sharingan. They did the same thing to you, didn't they? Asked Naruto sadly. How do you? Asked Ray with tears in her eyes. She could never forget that memory. The day when she had accidentally killed one of her caretakers, when he had attacked her. Danzo had forgiven her quickly, but now everything made sense. It was to activate her sharingan. I know everything about you, said Naruto seriously. She watched Naruto's meeting with a beautiful woman named Kurenai next, and she felt a little relieved as she saw Kurenai ease Naruto's pain with every passing moment. The next moment, she saw Naruto being surrounded by Root Anbu in the Forest of Death, and they brought him to a base. He is the son of the fourth Hokage, thought Ray in shock, as she heard Danzo reveal Naruto's truth. Ray completely understood Naruto's feelings as he made a decision to join Root. He was not a bad person, he just wanted to protect his village and family, thought Ray warmly. Then a boy named Konohamaru appeared, and she heard Naruto's happy voice. This is one of the best moments of my life. A few tears slipped up from Ray's eyes as she watched the heartwarming love between Naruto and Konohamaru. However, she suddenly found herself standing on top of a cliff, and then she saw something. And this is where I lost my brother, said Naruto in a choked voice. She watched in horror as Shin practically made Naruto kill him, and all of this happened on Danzo's orders. She felt Naruto's pain, his despair, his helplessness, his hands that trembled with Shin's blood. And finally the activation of his Mangekyo Sharingan. They made me kill my best friend. I killed the one closest to me. I am a murderer, said Naruto sadly. You are not a murderer. You are not like that, Captain, said Rei with tears in her eyes. Naruto's story broke her heart. Did Danzo really do such horrible things to him? Was everything a lie? Yes, I am, said Naruto darkly. She watched closely as Danzo told his plans about the coup, and the role Naruto had to play in it. Rei was amazed to know that Naruto was the main player in this coup, a move that Danzo would regret forever. They took everything from me, so this was my choice. Watch Rei Uchiha, yelled Naruto's voice. Rei watched in horror as she saw Naruto butcher one root Anbu after another, the blood, the screams, the fear. But she felt his pain when he killed each person, the sadness in his heart, she felt all of it. Naruto's sword cut every person that came in his way, she saw his horrifying blood-soaked body, the murderous look in his eyes. He had turned into a monster. A monster that Danzo created for his own personal benefit. Stop it. I can't see it, pleaded Rei. Immediately the world around her disappeared, and she found herself standing in the same spot in the root base. She saw Naruto floating in the air with his Susanoo, blood was leaking from his eyes, but her Sharingan eyes also saw the tears in his eyes. Rei immediately felt all her strength leave her body. She fell straight on the ground. Her Sharingan faded away too, but she never averted his eyes from Naruto. Why? Did you do such a thing? Asked Rei with tears in her eyes. Even though Naruto was done injustice, he had no right to commit a massacre. This is my revenge, Rei. This is the path I chose, said Naruto firmly. You became the monster they wanted you to be, said Rei loudly. Her entire body had become numb, and she knew unconsciousness was approaching her. Naruto averted his eyes from her. Despite his reasons, he had killed hundreds of people, and that could never be changed. You are telling me that you butchered every single person in your way. For your revenge only. Many of them had been your friends, your teachers, your comrades. And you killed every one of them. There is something you are not telling me. But despite all of this, said Rei weakly. This is what Root and Danzo truly are. They destroy people's lives, and I am putting an end to this madness once and for all. It ends here, said Naruto firmly. Rei's eyes started to close, and with her last strength she said a few words that her heart wanted her to say, but she didn't know the impact which they had on Naruto. I forgive you, said Rei tiredly. Her eyes closed as unconsciousness overtook her, but she had learned one thing today, that Naruto Uchiha was not a bad person. But just someone who had a bad life. I promise, I'll save you from your darkness. These were her last thoughts before she drifted off to sleep. Naruto couldn't believe what he had heard. Did she say what he thinks she said? Kurama, did she truly mean that? Asked Naruto with tears in his eyes. I sensed no false feelings in her words. She meant what she said Kurama happily. Maybe some good did come out of this meeting. Now was the time to save Naruto from his madness. Naruto, do you really want to die? You are telling me, you will abandon such a child and let her live her life as you did? Asked Kurama quickly. No, said Naruto hesitantly. Are you that stupid that you would make Kurenai kill you? That woman loves you more than anyone, is that how you repay her back? Would you make her live the rest of her life in despair? Are you that selfish, you fucking coward? Yelled Kurama angrily. You don't understand anything, said Naruto, but was cut off when he heard Kurama's next words. Shin would be ashamed of you, said Kurama confidently. This was the moment where Naruto's future would be decided. Kurama knew if he failed, then the world would be facing another Madara. He had been trusted by the Sage of Six Paths to help the Child of Prophecy bring peace to this world, and he truly believed it was Naruto. The boy was the only one to accept Kurama as a living being. He accepted him as a friend, despite everything. He wouldn't let a good soul like Naruto fall to the Uchiha's curse of hatred. Kurama, the nine-tailed fox, would save his friend at all costs, even if it was from himself. That's not true, said Naruto in shock. Will his big brother really be ashamed of him? Naruto remembered what he had done to Kurenai in despair. he had not thought about her feelings at all. He had been so selfish and had only thought about his pain. He was truly ashamed of himself, and even Shin would be ashamed too. What have I become? This is not me, I'm not a monster. I'm, thought Naruto slowly. You are Naruto Uchiha of Konoha, and my friend. You are the savior of this world. You are the one who has to bring peace in this world. It was Shin's dream after all, don't you remember? Asked Kurama tactfully. Naruto's eyes widened as he remembered what his best friend's dream was, and what he believed in. It was Naruto's personal dream too. You, are the savior of this world. I just wish I could have seen the peace I desired. Shin's parting words still rang in his ears. He wouldn't let anyone down. He wouldn't make anyone suffer for his mistakes. He would repay everyone for whatever happiness and comfort they gave him. He loved Kurenai. He had made a mistake which he would amend as soon as possible. He would try to be the best father for his daughter. Naruto would fill Rei's life with love. He would give her the best life he could, and apologize for all his mistakes. He was going to save Konoha, and come back alive from Operation Ghost with his friend Sai, no matter what happens. Shin was his inspiration. He had sacrificed his life so Naruto could live. He wouldn't let it go in vain. Ni-san, thought Naruto passionately. Kurama, I had forsaken myself, my friends, Kakashi, Anko, Jiji, Shin, Sai, Tsunade, Konohamaru, Amiko, Kurenai and even Rei. I have fallen so far. I'm ashamed of myself and my actions, said Naruto shamefully. A wide smile came on Kurama's face. He had succeeded. Maybe there was still hope left for this world. Come Naruto, I will help you reclaim yourself, said Kurama proudly. The light in Naruto's eyes reappeared. Tears freely flowed from his eyes. He felt happy. He had a purpose. He was the savior of this world. Naruto Uchiha had broken free from the Uchiha's curse of hatred. Chapter 22. Annihilation of Root. In a secluded corridor of the Root base stood two figures on top of a mud river. One of them had pierced a kunai straight through the other's heart. These two persons were none other than Danzo Shimura and his now ex-subordinate, Sai Sato. Danzo had a calm look on his face. He knew this was the end for the young boy. He was impressed with the way the boy had fought, but it still was not enough to take down a war veteran like him. The only ones who even had a chance of killing him were Hiruzen, the Sannin, Itachi, and Naruto Uchiha. However, Danzo was shell-shocked when the Sai in front of him blasted. It was not a blast of blood but of ink. Asumi Bunshin, thought Danzo in shock. He quickly jumped away from the surface of the mud river, as the remains of the ink clone melted away in the mud. Danzo's right arm was now open and not in his kimono. Even the bandages on his right eye were removed, and the horrible truth was now in the open. He looked around and saw Sai lying flat on the ground. He was panting quite harshly, and some blood was leaking from various parts of his body. All in all, Sai looked like he had been through a meat grinder. Sai was shell-shocked when he saw what was on Danzo's right arm. It had 11 sharingan on it. Its skin was very pale, but its muscles looked far stronger than Danzo's left hand. But more than that, Danzo had a sharingan in his right eye, and not any normal sharingan. It was a Mangekyo sharingan. It was spherical in shape, as the three tomo had connected, and there was a cross right in the center. A Mangekyo sharingan? What the fuck? Thought Sai nervously. Meanwhile, Danzo was observing the boy more cautiously now. He had underestimated the young Anbu. Sai was far more stronger and smarter than he had imagined. If I had not used my genjutsu, he would have killed me. I just barely casted my illusion and escaped his attack, but he substituted himself with his ink clone in a flash. It seems luck was on his side, thought Danzo calmly. So you had these hidden in your hand, for all these years. You are a freak dickless, said Sai in a disgusted voice. It doesn't matter what you think. I'll make you tell what made you betray me, said Danzo dangerously. You stole these sharingan from the corpses of the Uchiha. You really have no respect for the dead. But whose Mangekyo sharingan is that? Asked Sai firmly. I don't have to answer that question. You are nothing but a nuisance now. You have lost, said Danzo seriously. Sai used all the energy he had left, and got up from the ground. His muscles were in pain. He was feeling sleepy, but he had to go on, no matter what happened. Not yet, thought Sai with determination. Sai picked up his tanto with his remaining unbroken hand. He was finding it hard to breathe as Danzo's ki increased. It seemed the commander of Root was finally going to fight with full strength. He then thought about the entire scene. He wanted to know how Danzo escaped from his lethal attack. I was so close to killing him, but it seems he casted a genjutsu on me with the help of his Mangekyo Sharingan. But Naruto's genjutsu prowess is strong. Who in the hell has a Sharingan that can cast genjutsu more powerful than Naruto's? Thought Sai frustratingly. He then remembered all the deceased members of the Uchiha clan. They were strong, but their Sharingan paled in comparison to Naruto's. Only a few had more powerful eyes than Naruto. One was Madara Uchiha, but he was killed by the first Hokage, and Sai doubted Danzo could ever find Madara's body. Next was Izuna Uchiha, who was Madara's brother, and Naruto's ancestor. Naruto had told him that he had a Mangekyo Sharingan too. But he was killed even before Konoha was formed, so it couldn't be his eyes too. Itachi Uchiha had a powerful Sharingan, but he was still alive and was missing. Sai ruled it out. Who is it? Who was the most powerful genjutsu user of the Uchiha clan? Thought Sai with a frown. His eyes widened in shock when he realized whose eyes Danzo possessed. Shisui Uchiha. He had committed suicide, but no one ever found his body. The most powerful genjutsu master of the Uchiha. His eyes created the most dangerous and strongest genjutsu. You took his eye, didn't you, Dickless? Asked Sai sharply. Danzo was quite surprised and shocked as well. To think the boy could think and come out with the perfect answer, even when he was in such a difficult situation, was astonishing. Sai's level of intelligence, and his analytical abilities were of an Anbu captain. There was no point in hiding it now, it was not going to change anything. He was going to kill Sai anyway. Yes, it is his eye. However, your assumption about Shisui's Sharingan powers is incomplete, said Danzo mysteriously. What do you mean? Asked Sai suspiciously. He had a bad feeling about this. Shisui's Mangekyo is not only the strongest genjutsu casting Sharingan, but it also has one more ability which made him feared in the entire world, explained Danzo briefly. Sai's eyes widened in fear as he realized the meaning behind Danzo's hint. His chances of survival were now very low. Naruto, I need your help, thought Sai worriedly. Yes, it seems you understood. Shisui's Mangekyo not only allows me to cast the most powerful genjutsu of this world, but also gives me one more ability, that is. Danzo was interrupted from his speech when the entire base started shaking, and cracks started appearing in the wall. So it seems he is going to finish it, thought Sai in relief. He had done his job. He had stopped Danzo long enough to allow Naruto to finish Root. Now he only had to survive until Naruto arrived. And then, they would finish Danzo. The Root Anbu shifted a few meters away from the barrier. Their plan had failed as their secret weapon was defeated by Naruto. Fu and Torun couldn't believe Rei was taken out so easily by Naruto. Danzo had told them she was powerful, but they had underestimated Naruto, and had solely relied on her Mokuden, which Naruto destroyed with his heavenly sword of Susanoo. They saw Naruto pointing his ice sword towards Rei. Is he going to kill her? Thought Torun nervously. Not that he cared, but she was an asset of Danzo, and as such was valuable for their cause. Hyero no Jutsu, Ice Dome. The Root Anbu watched in surprise, as a dome of ice engulfed Rei's entire body in it. Naruto stared at the remaining Root forces. He was feeling tired. He was quite shocked when he coughed up a lot of blood. Kurama, what is happening? Asked Naruto quickly. Kurama gritted his teeth in anger. The boy's body was badly damaged due to the curse seal, and he didn't want to tell this to Naruto right now. But it seemed the young blonde understood the Biju's silence and the message behind it. How bad is it? Asked Naruto calmly. He had felt that, when the curse seal had activated, he somehow knew, he had taken some serious damage. Sai had prevented Danzo from causing further harm, but it seemed the damage had already been done. The curse seal released a corrupted chakra in your body which is destroying your body from the inside, said Kurama hesitantly. But if I stop using your chakra, it should have stopped this virus from spreading further, argued Naruto. My initial assumption was wrong. The curse seal took power from your mother's poisonous chakra, and when Danzo activated it, you were using my chakra. It not only stopped you from using my chakra, but also spread a poison across your entire body. The flow of chakra in your muscles was 4 times greater than any shinobi at that time. As a result, it spread quickly. Even if your friend has stopped Danzo, the damage has already been done, explained Kurama sadly. What's the extent of the damage? Asked Naruto calmly. This virus or poison, whatever you call it, is destroying your body at cellular level. The more you use my chakra, the shorter your life will become. Even if you don't use my chakra, the poison will still kill you, if you don't find a very skilled doctor quickly, said Kurama worriedly. Can't you heal my body like always? Asked Naruto curiously. No, I can only heal minor injuries. This is far more complex. I'm sorry, but it is out of my hands, said Kurama apologetically. He really was feeling helpless right now. Naruto took in a deep breath. Things were getting difficult for him, but right now he had to finish his mission. We'll talk about this later. Don't worry, I'm not gonna die. I have to look after Rei, you know, said Naruto in a cheerful voice. Naruto. You don't have much time, said Kurama seriously. We'll get through this. And that's a promise, said Naruto firmly. Naruto then cut off the link, and prepared to fight his final battle with the remaining root forces. The Susanoo's wings flapped wildly, sending a strong gust of wind, which blew away some debris inside the barrier. Naruto nodded to his 4 shadow clones, and they started releasing the barrier. As the purple wall was coming down, the root Anbu shifted several meters away in order to gain distance and prepare for their attack. Hyero no Jutsu, Ice Dome. Naruto pointed his heavenly sword to Rei's direction, and soon a very large dome of ice erupted from the ground and engulfed Rei's entire body in it, and formed a protective barrier in order to stop any attacks. I want all of you to get in Manji formation around this dome. Protect Rei at all costs, ordered Naruto sternly. Hi, said all the 4 shadow clones in unison. The shadow clones quickly took out their swords and got into defensive formation around the ice dome. Naruto knew his ice dome was strong enough to withstand powerful ninjutsu attacks, but still he didn't want to take any risks, and as such had left his shadow clones as additional defense for his daughter, who was currently unconscious and defenseless. The purple wall finally came down, and Naruto shot forward straight towards the root Anbu's forces. Quickly, attack the wings and bring them down, yelled Torun loudly. Shuriken Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Hurricane Shadow Clone Technique. All the Anbu launched several shuriken towards Naruto, and performed the ninjutsu. As a result, the few shuriken, now multiplied into hundreds of shuriken that were like a wall and rushed straight towards Naruto's Susanoo, some of them even had exploding tags on them. In response, Naruto swung his Hyorinamru in the air, and a powerful wave of ice was launched straight towards the wall of shuriken. The effect was instantaneous, and all the shuriken were frozen, and as they dropped on the ground they shattered to pieces as they were crystallized by the ice. Sensatsu Susho, 1,000 Needles of Death. The root Anbu watched in shock, as Naruto's Susanoo released thousands of ice needles that flew in the air, and were now heading towards them quickly. Even the entire sky was covered by the attacks. The speed of the attacks was incredible, as the entire frontline comprising of half of the remaining root Anbu forces got hit directly. Fu and Torun watched in horror, as their men started dropping like flies as the ice needles impaled their bodies. Some were hit in the neck, some straight in the heart, some in the head. The sheer magnitude of the attack was such that there were no survivors left. Shit, 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 attack. Fu and Torun heard some random Anbu yell, and many of their comrades made a bonsai charge towards Naruto. The few squads of Anbu jumped high in the air, and performed their attacks. Futen Daitapa, Wind Release. Great Breakthrough Jutsu. Futen Suido no Tatsumaki, Wind Release. Tornado Tunnel Jutsu. Futen Repusho, Wind Release. Gale Wind Palm Jutsu. Futen Kase no Yaba, Wind Release. Wind Sword Jutsu. Futen Kazakiri, Wind Release. Wind Cutter Jutsu. Futen Saraisu no Tatsumaki, Wind Release. Slicing Tornado Jutsu. Futen Kaden Shuriken, Wind Release. Rotating Shuriken Jutsu. Futen Juausigan, Wind Release. Gravity Force Jutsu. Futen Atsugai, Wind Release. Pressure Damage Jutsu. All the root squads launched their powerful wind attacks in a desperate attempt to cut Naruto's Susanoo, but their eyes widened in shock as Naruto rushed straight towards them. All the shuriken, wind blades, and various other attacks collided with the Susanoo and caused a great explosion. The root Anbu sighed in relief, thinking it was over now. But Naruto quickly shot straight through and collided with the squads of Anbu who had led the Banzai charge. The Susanoo cut through the bodies of root Anbu like butter, their bodies were tore in half with blood spilling everywhere. It was a terrifying scene. Both Fu and Torun couldn't believe that not a single crack had occurred on the Susanoo, it was as if it was made of steel. Let's finish this, said Naruto seriously. Fu and Torun saw a black energy gathering in Naruto's sword and immediately shouted, to the remaining 40 root Anbu. Defensive walls now. Doden Doryuheki, Earth Release. Mud Wall Jutsu. The last of the root forces, poured all the chakra they had left and formed a large mud wall, and soon they heard a loud roar in the base. Kokuryu Bofusetsu, Black Dragon Blizzard. The root forces along with their two captains ran several meters away, and when they looked back their eyes widened in fear when a black dragon with dark red eyes, cut straight through their earth wall, and was now heading towards them. Fu's eyes widened in shock, when Torun jumped straight towards the black dragon, and he had several explosive tags strapped on his chest. Torun. Fu's scream echoed in the entire corridor, as Torun was eaten up by the black dragon, but after a second the dragon was blown to pieces as the explosive tags that Torun had triggered off blasted him to pieces along with the dragon. Fu and the remaining Anbu looked at each other, they knew what was coming. They were done for. Their mission was a failure, their comrades were killed, their leader was nowhere to be seen. They had no chakra left, and barely 40 of them were alive. The entire root Anbu Black Ops were destroyed, the bodies of their now dead comrades was a proof of that. Forgive us, Danzo-sama. We have failed, thought Fu regretfully. Fu couldn't take this anymore, even though he was a root captain, he had enough. His comrades were dead, his best friend was dead and Naruto was preparing his final attack. This is it, thought Fu tiredly. He gripped his sword tightly, he was a shinobi, if he was going to die, he would go down fighting. He wouldn't die in fear, and let Torun's desperate attempt to save them go to waste. Men, it has been an honor to fight beside you, said Fu proudly. The root Anbu took a deep breath, they had been trained for such situations. They were proud shinobi, and warriors of Konoha. All of them gripped their swords tightly and stood side by side with each other in a single line. They took off their masks, and their eyes burned brightly with undying passion. Even in the face of death, their beliefs never broke. The honor was our Captain Fu and Captain Torun, said all the 40 root Anbu in unison. A small smile came on Fu's face as his entire life flashed in his mind, it was time for him to lay down his life for Konoha. Are you with me? Asked Fu firmly. Till the end, Captain. Said all root Anbu firmly. Fu's charged straight towards Naruto, he could clearly see the black sphere that Naruto had launched at them. For Konoha. The battle cry of the last root forces rang one last time, as they marched proudly towards their death. Yasaka no Magatama. There was big explosion that rocked the entire base, walls collapsed, debris flew everywhere, and loud screams could be heard in the base. After a few moments, no voices could be heard, there was pin drop Selekni in the entire corridor. There was smoke in the entire corridor, and debris were scattered everywhere, and right in the center of the room was Naruto. He was on his knees, blood was coming out of his mouth and both of his hands were trembling. His Susanoo had vanished, his vision was blurry and tears of blood ran down from his eyes. Naruto looked at some of the remains of the root Anbu, their blood, their screams, all of it would forever be wretched in his memory. The sins he had committed could never be washed away, he felt miserable, horrible. He truly felt like a monster now. This was hell, this was the true shinobi world. Kurama didn't say anything, the mission was now almost over, but Naruto was already broken. The light in his eyes was now replaced by a cold stoic look, his sharingan faded away. He looked at his hands that were soaked in blood of hundreds of people. He had killed his friends, his superiors, his comrades, all of them were dead. Only he was left. His painful scream rang in the entire root base, and his violent sorrowful sobs would forever be heard in the now destroyed root base. Chapter 23. Naruto's Agony. The darkness rises. Kurama couldn't watch the scene that was happening in front of his eyes. Naruto was crying hysterically. His sobs were getting louder with each passing moment, his body was shaking. Everywhere around him was a river of blood, pieces of human flesh were scattered everywhere. The walls were stained in blood, and Naruto was right in the center of this hell. He was broken, his soul was dead, his pain had become unbearable. All around him were bodies of his friends, his comrades, his teachers, they were all dead. Kurama decided he had to help the poor boy, or else he would just kill himself in this much despair. Naruto, listen to me, said Kurama gently. He didn't get any response, it seemed the boy was not really focusing on his voice. He had to try again. Naruto. You can get through this. Get up, your friend Sai needs you, said Kurama patiently. Again no response, what was going on here? Can you hear me? Asked Kurama worriedly. Again, there was no response and this time Kurama's danger senses started kicking off. Something horrible was going to happen. Naruto, said Kurama but was cut off as he heard a new voice. He cannot hear you right now, said a mysterious voice. Kurama's eyes snapped in surprise as a person walked out of the shadows of his cage, but when Kurama saw who this person was his eyes widened in shock. There stood in front of him, a blonde boy with the same face, same hair, same clothes as Naruto. He looked like his clone. The only difference was it had red eyes that were more darker than Kurama's very own. You, said Kurama angrily. Long time no see, said the blonde boy cheerfully. Kurama knew this boy. In the past there was an incident when he had worked with him, and had tried to influence Naruto. After all these years. Why have you showed up now? Asked Kurama sternly. The blonde boy pouted on hearing that. He was also making an innocent face, but Kurama knew all of this was fake. The person in front of him was more devious than the Biju himself. And was the worst enemy for Naruto, right now. I'm hurt Kyubi-chan, is that how you greet your best friend? Asked the blonde boy in a hurt voice. This seemed to anger Kurama more, as he tried to stab the boy with his claws, but he backflipped away easily with a smirk on his face. My, you are still hot-headed, said the blonde boy in an amused voice. Answer me, yelled Kurama angrily. Kurama's angry voice seemed to irritate the blonde boy, as all playfulness vanished from his face, and he looked at the Biju with a mad look in his red eyes. I came here to finish what we started a few years ago. Yelled the blonde boy madly, and started chuckling hysterically. Kurama's eyes widened in shock and fear. This person was none other than Naruto's dark side. Before Kurama and Naruto became friends, the Biju had worked together with this side of Naruto in order to get out of the cage. Dark Naruto had the power to control Naruto's emotions when he was broken, or when he got very angry. The fourth Hokage's seal prevented Kurama to cause any significant influence and damage to Naruto, but it was different in the case of this dark side of Naruto's personality. He was a part of Naruto, formed due to all the negative feelings the real Naruto had to face in his life. Dark Naruto resembled anger, hatred, sorrow, misery and revenge. He was a part of Naruto. As a result he was not bound by the fourth Hokage's seal, but his power depended on the will of the real Naruto. If the real Naruto got weak, or if his spirit broke, or when he was very angry then Dark Naruto could influence him without showing any signs of his presence. Kurama remembered a few years back, he and Dark Naruto had worked together. Naruto had been fighting Sasuke in a spar at the academy and somehow Sasuke said something that greatly angered the real Naruto. At that time with Dark Naruto's help, Kurama had tried to take over Naruto's body, but somehow real Naruto's will was strong and he stopped both Kurama and Dark Naruto. Both Kurama and Dark Naruto had their own goals. Kurama wanted to get free from the cage in the past and destroy Konoha, while he did not want to get out now, he still despised Konoha. On the other hand, Dark Naruto was a form of Naruto's hatred. He wanted to take revenge on Konoha for all they did to his real form, all the pain they put him through. He wanted to destroy each and every one person in the Hidden Leaf Village, and his dream was very powerful. And this was the moment he was going to strike and have his revenge. The real Naruto was broken and he was going to take advantage of it. You can't be thinking of, said Kurama in shock. It is exactly as you think. I will destroy Konoha tonight and everyone in it, said Dark Naruto murderously. I won't let you harm Naruto, said Kurama angrily. Dark Naruto again chuckled on hearing that. The Biju's attempts were pointless now, he had the power now. You still don't get it, do you? Asked Dark Naruto calmly. Kurama frowned on hearing that question. What did that idiot mean? This is Naruto's mind, or in other words my mind. I am Naruto's dark side, I am his darkness. For all these years that fool kept me at bay, but now I can have my revenge on Danzo, on Konoha, on you, on everyone. Said Dark Naruto with a smirk. Naruto will stop you again, said Kurama confidently. Can he? Asked Dark Naruto with narrowed eyes. What? Asked Kurama in surprise. Why was Dark Naruto so confident this time? Dark Naruto seemed to understand what the Biju was thinking and decided to explain it to the beast. After all, it would be fun to see his shocked face, thought Dark Naruto mischievously. Don't you get it? Naruto is broken, his soul is dead, his will is finished. The pain of killing his friends, comrades, teachers has killed him, he cannot take it anymore. The only thing left in his heart is sadness and misery, explained Dark Naruto calmly. What does it matter to you? Asked Kurama firmly. Everything. My power is his darkness, his pain, his misery, his sadness, his anger. And his hatred. I represent all of it. And right now my power is greater than yours, stated Dark Naruto proudly. You can't mean? Asked Kurama in shock. They were fucked now. Yes. I am going to destroy the original Naruto, I will destroy his soul and I will have my revenge. Said Dark Naruto with determination. You, said Kurama but was cut off, as Dark Naruto disappeared. We are fucked, thought Kurama worriedly. The real Naruto found himself in his mindscape, he was floating on the surface of a river. But it didn't matter anymore, he had enough, he just wanted all of it to end. Why? The real Naruto's painful voice echoes in the dark corridor, where the only sound was of the floating river. The fact that Naruto couldn't see his partner Kurama was alarming, but it seemed he didn't care about anything anymore. Why did this happen? Asked the real Naruto sadly. Tears freely flowed from his eyes, he couldn't forget all the cries of the men he killed tonight, their screams still rang in his mind. Two small sharingan eyes appeared in front of the real Naruto, and looked at him sternly. How will you face this pain? Asked a mysterious voice. Suddenly Naruto found a clone of himself with dark red sharingan eyes, floating on top of him. The real Naruto just looked at him with his dead eyes, nothing mattered to him anymore. I don't know, said the real Naruto in a dead voice. Let me hear your answer, said Dark Naruto again, his sharingan bore into the real Naruto's dead eyes. But the real Naruto didn't answer, and more tears flowed from his eyes. It hurts, said Naruto in a choked voice. What hurts? Asked Dark Naruto with a smirk, things were going according to his plan. I can't take it anymore. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, said the real Naruto in a depressed voice. Let's make the world feel pain, said Dark Naruto firmly. I don't care about anything anymore. I killed all of them, their screams. Get it out of my head, pleaded the real Naruto. Love gives birth to sacrifice, which brings forth hatred and lets you know pain, said Dark Naruto seriously. Dark Naruto's sharingan started to swirl and were now looking clearly in the real Naruto's eyes. Remember your pain. Remember your hatred, said Dark Naruto loudly. Dark Naruto's sharingan changed into the Mangekyo state. Tsukiyomi. He then flashed Naruto's entire life in front of him, the hatred of the villagers, his first kills. But the worst thing, he made the real Naruto watch how he killed Shin again and again. Stop it, screamed the real Naruto in agony. Only 71 hours, 59 minutes and 59 seconds more to go. This is the beginning of your suffering, said Dark Naruto sadistically. Naruto's painful screams would echo in the entire mindscape continuously. Kurama didn't know what was going on, he was yelling at the top of his lungs. But no answer was coming from Naruto. He was just sitting in the same place in the base, but it seemed as if his consciousness was not there. The Biju's eyes widened in shock as he remembered Dark Naruto's words. Everything. My power is his darkness, his pain, his misery, his sadness, his anger. And his hatred. I represent all of it. And right now my power is greater than yours. Kurama understood what was going on. It seemed Dark Naruto had taken his original form in an alternate mindscape, and only Kami knew what he was doing with him. The end has begun, thought Kurama worriedly. Stop. The real Naruto screamed in horror and pain, as Dark Naruto had made him watch for the 1000th time as how he killed Shin, and the entire Root Anbu forces. He had tortured him continuously for three days. Somebody help me, yelled Naruto in pain, as he watched Shin getting stabbed by his sword again. Destroy everything. Kill those who've brought you pain, said Dark Naruto madly, and made the real Naruto watch the massacre again. Said Naruto but couldn't speak further, as his sobs blocked any further voice from coming out of his mouth. Entrust me with your soul. I'll save you from your suffering if you do, said Dark Naruto with a smirk. The real Naruto nodded tiredly and soon his t-shirt was ripped apart and a seal formed on his stomach. That's it. Go on, said Dark Naruto happily. It was finally his time. The real Naruto's eyes changed to complete red, and his body started floating towards the Dark Naruto. Embrace me, brother, yelled Dark Naruto madly. Both the Naruto's bodies connected and there was a large explosion in the mindscape. Yes, no pain. Kurama's eyes widened in shock, as he felt a massive amount of his chakra being taken away from him. Suddenly two figures appeared several feet away from his cage, and Kurama couldn't believe what he was seeing. The Dark Naruto had embraced the real Naruto, and both of their eyes were of the same color now. I'm finally free, Kyuubi, said Dark Naruto seriously. Balls, screamed Kurama. The Anbu commander's eyes widened in fear as he saw a blast of a very familiar red chakra, cut straight through the sky. The barrier which he had formed prevented anybody who was inside to get out, and also did not allow any sound to be heard. But the thing which he was seeing terrified him. A ray of red chakra was leaking from a far end of the root base, and the Anbu commander's eyes widened in shock when a mark appeared on his hand. His fears were true, and all hell was gonna break loose now. Clones, hold the barrier as long as possible. It's an order, don't let the barrier down or Konoha is finished, yelled the Anbu commander loudly. Hi Captain, what are you going to do? Asked all the clones together, even they knew what bloody situation they were in now. The Anbu commander looked at the kanji showing the word 5 on his hand, and he steeled himself. I'm going in. Sai dodged another strike from Danzo and backflipped a few meters away. He had been doing this for a few moments, and he just wanted Naruto to come. But suddenly both he and Danzo felt a blast of a malicious chakra in the entire base. Suddenly loud footsteps approached their position at lightning speed. Bang, 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 bang. Bang. Boom. The entire wall of the corridor was blown to dust as a figure approached from the shadows. Sai collapsed flat on the ground. The Ki was out of this world. He had not felt and seen such a foul chakra in his entire life. Danzo meanwhile knew what this thing was, and a bead of sweat rolled of his head. The memories of the incident 15 years ago flashed through his mind, and a shiver ran down his spine as he remembered the horrible night. It seemed history was going to repeat itself after 15 years again. Danzo slowly turned around, in order to face his opponent, and some fear rose in his body as he watched the terrifying creature that was in front of him. Do you hate me? Asked Danzo calmly. He somehow was trying to control his nerves, but this chakra was making him shake in fear. There stood in front of him a middle-sized fox-looking human. His entire body was covered in red chakra, and no skin was visible at all. His eyes were now of a monster, his teeth had become canine, and his nails had turned into large claws. But the most terrifying thing were the 5 tails on his back, that were floating murderously. I'm gonna kill you, yelled the creature. The fight for Konoha's survival had just began. Chapter 24. Hell Unleashed. True Despair. Danzo stared at the creature in front of him. It seemed Naruto had gone into some primary Jinchuriki form, but it was not perfect. I'm gonna kill you, yelled the creature. Sai's eyes widened in horror, as he saw what his friend had become. Using Kyuubi's chakra in such a raw manner, would destroy Naruto's body. He had to stop it. Sai immediately took out a seal. For once he was thankful to Danzo for teaching him this fuinjutsu. This was a technique to abruptly stop the flow of a tailed beast chakra into the Jinchuriki's chakra network for a few minutes. This would help in subduing the Jinchuriki, and prevent the escape of the tailed beast. But he had to do it now, or else this seal would not work if Naruto's tail increased to more than 6. Sai then suddenly remembered something that made his eyes widen in fear. Danzo had the upper hand here. If he somehow puts Naruto in a genjutsu with his Mangekyo Sharingan, then he can easily destroy the Hokage's forces. He won't need the root Anbu. With this much power Naruto can easily destroy half of Konoha, thought Sai worriedly. He looked at his body. He was wounded, and in such a big fight he couldn't do anything. His friend had clearly lost his soul in despair, and Sai couldn't blame Naruto for this. Even Sai himself was feeling horrible after killing the root Anbu, their screams, the blood. He could never forget this nightmare. And Naruto had endured far more than him, and it seemed he was broken now. They were shinobi, they were Anbu, the best Black Ops soldiers of Konoha. But, even they were human. Nobody understood that he and Naruto were just young kids, fight after fight, death after death. Watching everyone around you die in front of you, killing people who they once called comrades. Why did this have to happen? This pain, this guilt was unbearable. And looking at his friend, brought tears in Sai's eyes. He had to stop him. He would save Naruto. After all, he was the only friend Sai had left in this world. Sai immediately took out a small sealing scroll and unsealed it on the ground. He took out a small brush from his pouch and ink from his pants. I cannot charge head on. I would never be able to reach him without someone holding him steady. I have to perform this jutsu so I can stop him, thought Sai tactically. He started drawing something on the seal, in order to implement his strategy. Meanwhile Danzo stared at his opponent. He had to be very careful from now on. One mistake could prove to be very costly. I need some time in order to fully cast Kotoamatsukami on him. Until then I need to maintain distance and avoid his attacks, thought Danzo calmly. Danzo's Mangekyo Sharingan started rotating and immediately he flashed several meters away. It was as if he had just used a teleportation technique. It was no ordinary Shunshina, because its speed was very great. He immediately performed a set of hand seals quickly. Futen Kazakiri no Jutsu, Wind Release, Wind Cutter Jutsu. Several blades of winds cut clean through Naruto's body, but to Danzo's surprise all the external wounds that would have killed any other normal human, were healed in an instant. Danzo quickly jumped in the air as a few tendrils of Kyuubi's chakra emerged from the ground in order to slice him in half. But he was shocked when he looked up and saw Naruto's fox form standing on the ceiling and looking at him murderously. So fast, thought Danzo. Naruto jumped straight towards Danzo in order to crush him, but again Danzo's Mangekyo flared and he disappeared in the air and landed a few meters away. Naruto crashed straight into the ground as he could not hit Danzo. Your power is great, but if you cannot control it you are useless, said Danzo harshly. This seemed to anger his opponent as he launched a powerful shock wave from his mouth that sent Danzo crashing in the wall. My balls, thought Danzo with a groan, the impact really was nasty. Futen Saraisu no Tatsumaki, Wind Release, Slicing Tornado Jutsu. Danzo released a powerful blast of wind from his mouth, that slowly shaped into a tornado and was heading towards Naruto at high speed. The fiery wind tornado engulfed Naruto in it, and continuously swirled wildly around him for a few minutes. But Danzo's eyes widened in shock when several large fireballs laced with Kyuubi chakra were fired at great speed towards him. Shita, I have to use it, thought Danzo hurriedly. The fireballs blasted Danzo to oblivion, as Naruto emerged from the wind tornado unharmed. But something had started to form on his back. And it appeared to be another tail. Danzo appeared in another position, which seemed to shock Sai as he just saw Naruto kill Danzo. But then he saw something that made him understand what had happened. The 11 Sharingan that were on Danzo's arm had now reduced to 10, as one of the eyes had shut down. So he is using some kinjutsu of the Uchiha, but is it a genjutsu or something else? Whatever it may be, it allows him to somehow escape death itself. If my assumption is right, and if Naruto can destroy all the 10 Sharingan then Danzo will be killed, thought Sai smartly. But before he could think of any other strategy his eyes widened in shock, as he watched the 6th tail had started to form. Shit, thought Sai alarmingly. His hands worked like a blur and soon he poured all of his chakra in his last jutsu. Choju Giga, Super Beast imitating drawing. Sai released a very large ink tiger from his seal, which charged straight towards Naruto and quickly caught him with his mouth. Now, thought Sai quickly. He then quickly jumped in the air, and took out the small seal which had the kanji, suppress, written on it. He had to be precise, and hit it exactly on Naruto's chest in order to stop the Kyuubi's chakra. The seal would stop the flow of Kyuubi chakra, by directly affecting the chakra network. Almost there, thought Sai nervously, as he was just about an inch away from Naruto. But suddenly Naruto's fox form roared and sent Sai crashing into the wall. The shock wave was so powerful that many of Sai's bones broke instantly on impact. Blood leaked from all over his body, even his head was badly injured. He watched with blurry eyes, as Naruto destroyed that ink tiger that was holding him with his tails. Sai felt tired, he knew his body could not take it anymore, his injuries were severe. He sadly watched as Danzo again impaled several wind shuriken straight in Naruto's heart, and his friend's roar broke his heart. He truly felt despair. The fact that the sixth-tailed was about to be formed signified that they had lost. Why am I just watching him getting hurt? Thought Sai tiredly. He tried to stand up, but more blood leaked from his body, and with a sickening crunch he fell down again. Why can't I move? Thought Sai sadly. Yelled Naruto in anger. Naruto, thought Sai, as he remembered something. Flashback. 5 years ago. Sai was sitting on top of a mountain. He had just finished his training and was now watching the sun setting peacefully in the sky. Sai. Sai heard his name being called. He looked to his right and saw his friend heading towards him. Naruto had a cheerful smile on his face, that made Sai chuckle. Shin and Naruto were the only family he had in this world. These two really looked after him en route, and encouraged him to fulfill his dreams. Moron, thought Sai amusedly, as Naruto tripped over a stone and fell flat on the ground. Naruto just gave him a sheepish smile, and dusted off the dirt from his uniform. He then hurriedly ran towards him, and sat beside him at the edge of the mountain. What's wrong, Naruto? Asked Sai calmly. Naruto got a small excited smile on his face, and he took out a small book from his pocket. Shin Nichan was hiding this, said Naruto in a mischievous tone. Sai looked at the book closely and saw it had the title, The Tale of a Gutsy Ninja. He frowned a little as he didn't like to take someone's personal thing without their permission. Naruto, you should not take things from Shin Nichan without his permission, said Sai strictly. Naruto just pouted on hearing that, and gave Sai a defying look. Yes, mother. Now can I say something before Shin Nichan finds me and kills me for taking his book, said Naruto sarcastically. Sai just gave a tired sigh, his friend really was stubborn. What is this book? Asked Sai patiently. It is a book about a peaceful shinobi world, said Naruto excitedly. A peaceful shinobi world? Asked Sai in surprise. Never in his entire life had he heard of such a thing. There were books on ninja wars, villages, porn, but not one like this. Yes, it seems Shin Nichan really likes this book, as he was hiding it from the officers, said Naruto with a smirk. Naruto, we are not supposed to have any personal belongings. The officers will give all of us detention if they find out about this, warned Sai. Forget all that. This book says that all the shinobi nations fought wars for decades but one died. They all united, said Naruto happily. United? Asked Sai in shock. Hiya. A hero named Naruto brought peace to the world by joining all the villages and made one big nation, said Naruto proudly. Sai started laughing loudly on hearing that, which made Naruto frown. No, why? A dumbass named Naruto can bring peace, said Sai playfully. Naruto gave Sai a large bonk on the head, and looked at him with determination. We can do it too. You, Shin Nichan and me, all of us together would bring peace to this world, said Naruto with determination. Sai's eyes softened on hearing that. Unlike Shin and Naruto, he didn't think peace was possible, but both of his friends believed in that dream, so he believed in their dream too, as they were his closest friends. As that's so? Asked Sai with a small smile. And there's more too in this book. Flaming water, frozen earth, so many different people living together, It even has a snow country in it like in our world. I'm sure such a world is more beautiful than the one we live in, said Naruto excitedly. A peaceful world. Hoo-ha, said Sai in wonder. Naruto looked at him with an innocent smile on his face. This is a secret between us, okay? We will surprise Shin-Nichan by achieving this dream, said Naruto proudly. Sai gave a nod, showing he accepted the promise. Maybe they really could make such a world. Hey, Saya, wouldn't it be great if we could live in a happy peaceful world someday? Flashback end. Sai's eyes hardened as he remembered the promise he had made Naruto, when they were kids. He knew what he had to. With my current level of chakra. And these injuries, there is no way my body could survive another attack. If I try to move my life will, thought Sai calmly. He gripped the seal tightly in his hands, and measured the distance between him and Naruto. It seemed Danzo was preparing his attack, as he was just trying to dodge Naruto's wild attacks. In order to save Konoha. And Naruto, this is my best shot, thought Sai firmly. With great effort, he slowly got up from the ground. More blood leaked from his body, and his broken bones were causing him more pain. He sent all of his remaining chakra to his feet and rushed towards Naruto, with all his strength. Naruto sent another shockwave which sent Danzo crashing into the wall again, but then he sensed an attack from behind. He acted on his instincts and quickly turned around, but it was too late. He felt something hit his heart, and suddenly his power started decreasing. Naruto's face emerged from the red skin. As the Kyuubi chakra started receding, he saw a small seal on his chest that was stopping the chakra. But he suddenly felt blood dropping on his face. He looked up, and his eyes widened in horror as he saw one of his tails had cut clean through Sai's left chest. Not again, not again, thought Naruto in panic. The tail vanished too, as Sai fell towards him. Naruto immediately caught his friend as the rest of the Kyuubi chakra disappeared too. Naruto's dark red eyes slowly started changing, and were now turning blue again. Noah! We should have our revenge, yelled Dark Naruto angrily. Shut up! Roared Naruto ferociously, his mindscape again changed to Kurama's sewer. This isn't Avera. We will meet again, said Dark Naruto bitterly. Kurama suddenly found Dark Naruto disappearing from the mindscape. It seemed Sai had brought the real Naruto back again. But the Costa. Saya. Sai, said Naruto worriedly, as he tried to stop the flow of blood from his chest. Don't lose yourself in Hatreda, said Sai weakly. His vision was blurry and he knew this was it. Hang in there, Ria. I'll get you out of here, said Naruto with tears in his eyes. All of this, Naruto suddenly felt history repeating itself again. One of his best friends was again dying because of Hima. He would not let that happen. Sai grabbed Naruto's shoulders gently and looked at him. You told me about a peaceful world, so. Don't let your dream die, said Sai tiredly. His hands fell limp to the side, and his eyes slowly closed. The last thing he saw was a wide-eyed Naruto, who had tears falling from his eyes. Sai! Yelled Naruto in agony. Chapter 25. Rise of the Sharingan Devil. He looked at the fallen body of his comrade. Everything seemed to have stopped for him. He felt alone, and this pain felt familiar. Silent tears slipped from Naruto's eyes as he looked at Sai, or rather the large hole in his chest. The hole which he created. There was no movement from his friend's body, his breathing had stopped and his heartbeat could no longer be felt. But despite all of this, there was a peaceful smile on his face. It looked as if Sai had finally found a place where there was no fighting, where there were no wars, and where he could live peacefully. Baka! Thought Naruto sadly. Futen Kaden Shuriken, Wind Release. Rotating Shuriken Jutsu. Naruto heard the sound of several shuriken coming towards him, and prepared himself to dodge with Sai's body, but heard another voice. Mokuden. Moku Joheiki, Wood Release. Wood Locking Wall. A large wooden wall was formed behind Naruto and Sai's position, and the shuriken attack collided with it. Naruto slowly looked up, and saw the Anbu commander was standing in front of him. So. It's already over, said the Anbu commander seriously, as he looked at Sai's body. Hi. He stopped me by placing this seal, said Naruto stoically. It seemed he had just sealed away all the emotions he had. The Anbu commander gave a short bow in order to show his respect for the young Anbu, who sacrificed himself for the village, and most of all for his friend. Commander. Can you hold off Danzo for a few moments? Requested Naruto calmly. The Anbu commander seemed surprised by this request, but one look in the blonde boy's eyes showed him he was already dead. He needed a moment to grieve for his friend. Got it. You have 3 minutes, said the Anbu commander seriously. He then jumped over the wooden wall, and after a few moments Naruto heard sounds of fighting. The Anbu commander was not a person who talked much. Naruto coughed up a lot of blood, but quickly brought his hand forward and did not allow a single drop of his blood to fall on Sai's body. How bad is it? Asked Naruto stoically. Kurama was quite shocked by hearing this. He expected Naruto to cry his eyes out, but it seemed the amount of emotional damage which Naruto had suffered was far worse. Are you okay? Asked Kurama in a gentle tone. He was quite surprised by Naruto's reply. We don't have time to talk about my feelings, they do not matter. I asked you a question, will you comply? Asked Naruto stoically. It's bad. You shouldn't have fallen and used my chakra. Maybe, said Kurama but was cut off. Can I fight in this condition? Asked Naruto firmly. You can. But this would only damage your body more. You need to rest, advised Kurama. Thank you for the concern. But I came here to do something, and I'll finish it, said Naruto seriously. Naruto. I don't want to talk, please stay quiet, said Naruto flatly. Before Kurama could reply, Naruto cut off the link. It seemed he was broken as another one of his best friend had died by his hands. Technically, it was an accident but Kurama knew Naruto would blame himself for this. Naruto gently laid Sai's body on the ground, and wiped off a few stains of blood from his face. Rest brother, said Naruto gently. He then jumped over the wall. He saw the Anbu commander and Danzo fighting at some distance. He calmed himself down. He had nothing left to lose now, the only thing that remained was the mission and its objectives. He saw the 10 sharingan on Danzo's arms, and his sensor abilities made him realize that Danzo's chakra was very similar to the Anbu commander. Combining both these facts, only one thing came to his mind, as he realized what Danzo was doing. And he would see that Danzo would pay for his crimes against Konoha, against every root Anbu, against Shin, against Rei, and against Sai, no matter the cost. Commander, said Naruto loudly. The Anbu commander heard his voice, and gave one kick to Danzo and backflipped away towards Naruto. So, you ready to fight together against him? He's tough and those sharingan are a pain in the ass, said the Anbu commander harshly. He was quite surprised when Naruto stepped in front of him, and unsheathed his sword. We are not fighting together, said Naruto finally. What? That is the best choice in the current situation, now is not the time for revenge, scolded the Anbu commander. Naruto turned around, and the Anbu commander was quite surprised by the look in his eyes. Who said anything about revenge? My feelings have been resolved, and I am focused on the mission. Sai Sato died in the line of duty, his sacrifice would help this village, said Naruto emotionlessly. He was said the Anbu commander calmly. Sai will forever be with me. He entrusted me with his dreams, he would want me to complete what we started together, said Naruto calmly. But you are not strong enough, said the Anbu commander harshly. Naruto turned quickly, and in a blink of an eye his sword was pointed at the Anbu commander's throat. His 3 Tomo sharingan looked in the commander's eyes. This is my fight. This sword belonged to my big brother, and this blood on my face is of my best friend, and the blood on this sword is of the men I killed tonight. All these deaths happened due to this man's madness. This is my mission. And I will finish it today. Back off, or I might kill you too, said Naruto murderously. His ki flared in the corridor, and the look in his sharingan eyes showed the commander that the boy had now become a true shinobi. There was no point in stopping him now. Very well, said the Anbu commander. Commander, I have left the person whom I mentioned in another part of the base. A few of my clones are guarding the position. Please retrieve that person and take Sai's body with you. I'll finish things here, said Naruto firmly. Understood, said the Anbu commander, and then jumped away. Naruto turned around and looked at his opponent without any type of emotion on his face. His posture was calm, his eyes were firm, and his sword shined brightly with blood. Danzo finally realized something, and he gave a small nod to the boy in respect. So, you finally became a true shinobi. The look in your eyes has changed, said Danzo calmly, and took out a kunai. Naruto didn't answer but just raised his sword, and increased his ki. Let's go, said Naruto calmly. Danzo's eyes widened in surprise, as Naruto disappeared in an instant, and before he could think further, he felt a sword cut clean through his neck. But the Danzo that was killed disappeared as an illusion. Naruto performed another set of hand seals, and fired his jutsu on his left side. Sweden. Hahenryu. Water release. Rapid crasher. A wall of water rushed towards the left side, and a moment later Danzo appeared there, and his eyes widened in shock as he was sent crashing into the wall due to the water wall. How did he? Thought Danzo in shock. But he had to raise his kunai as Naruto suddenly flashed in front of him, and slashed his sword at him. The sparks flew in the air, as the metal clashed with one another. Danzo was again shocked as he looked into Naruto's eyes, which changed into Mangekyo Sharingan. Amaterasu. Black flames started burning Danzo's face, but he again disappeared as an illusion. Naruto turned around. Blood leaked from his eyes, but due to his sensor skills he exactly knew where Danzo was. And he was proved right, as he saw Danzo standing on top of small debris, and the man looked more alarmed than ever. How do you know where I am going to show up? Asked Danzo sternly. Naruto didn't reply and sent his sword sailing towards Danzo at high speed. The old man used his Mangekyo in order to flash a few meters away and was shocked when he saw a mass of sparkling chakra in Naruto's right arm. Chidori. Naruto's lightning ball cut clean through Danzo's chest, and the man coughed up blood and disappeared again as an illusion. Danzo appeared behind Naruto and attempted to behead him, but was shocked again when Naruto in front of him bursted into crows. A kunai cut clean through Danzo's chest, and when he looked back he saw Naruto standing in front of him. 7 more Izanagi to go, said Naruto calmly. The illusion jutsu occurred again, as Danzo again disappeared, but the shock in the man's eyes could clearly be seen. Naruto jumped towards the debris and gracefully picked up his sword. He took in a deep breath as he sensed Danzo appear on his west side again, though the man was several meters away. So you know about Izanagi. You are an Uchiha, after all. I regret the fact that I couldn't finish you with your clan on that night, said Danzo bitterly. Naruto's entire body sparkled with blue chakra, and his cold Sharingan eyes glared at Danzo murderously. Your real regret has not even begun yet. I'll tear you apart. I'm gonna rip you to pieces. And wipe you off the face of this world, said Naruto murderously. Danzo took a step back. He really was shocked with such a malicious hatred in the boy's voice, and for once in his life Danzo truly felt his life was in danger now, as he was facing a devil right now, one whose only motive was to kill him. Naruto performed hand seals, at such fast speed that Danzo couldn't copy his jutsu, even with the help of his Sharingan. Kaden. Goka Mekyaku, fire release. Great fire annihilation. A tidal wall of fire rushed towards Danzo. It burned everything in its path. Danzo didn't have any place left to perform his shunshin. Izanagi, I have 6 more chances if I include my Mangekyo also, thought Danzo and performed his jutsu. It's already over for him, thought Naruto calmly. The fire wall burnt Danzo's body as he vanished as an illusion again, and appeared behind Naruto again. He attempted to behead Naruto instantly, and swiped his kunai towards Naruto's neck. Katsu. Danzo watched in shock, as the Naruto in front of him blasted away and took it with him. Is that all? Is this your power? Asked Naruto distastefully. Danzo again reappeared a few meters away, though there were just 3 Sharingan left on his arm, and 1 Mangekyo in his eyes. The Root Commander saw Naruto floating in the air. He looked as an illusion as part of his body resembled a crow. You think this is your power? Asked Naruto patiently. You cannot defeat me. Your body is so badly damaged that even if you do survive now, you probably have a few months left to live. But I am going to win here, no matter what, said Danzo calmly. I already know the damage I am suffering, it doesn't matter. I'll heal, but you think by attaching a few Sharingan and the first Hokage's cells makes you invincible, you can never match the power of the Uchiha, said Naruto sternly. Then show me your legendary power, said Danzo as performed his hand seals. I have already defeated you, thought Naruto calmly. Danzo released a powerful wave of wind towards Naruto, but the boy again vanished in a flock of crows. Naruto flipped in the air, and released his attack in all directions. Shuriken number jutsu. Danzo tried to dodge, but he was struck by a few shurikens straight in the head, and he vanished again. Naruto stood upside down on the ceiling of the base, and watched as Danzo appeared again and looked at his arm, which just had 2 sharingan left. No matter what he does, his body does not have the stamina which the Uchiha have, nor can he cast his genjutsu perfectly no matter how powerful his Mangekyo may be. A weapon is only lethal if used effectively, thought Naruto calmly. Naruto launched himself like a missile towards Danzo and sliced his head off before the man could even react. Naruto. You are shortening your life. If you keep this up, then I doubt any human could heal your damaged body, warned Kurama. I'll do something about this problem. Now let me fight, said Naruto strictly. Kurama angrily gave a punch to his cage. Why could the boy never understand? His body was so badly damaged, the effects were not visible now, but in a few days Kurama knew Naruto would see the effects. But it seemed the boy didn't care, or he was hopeful that he could find a cure for his damaged body. Kurama surely hoped it was the latter. Danzo appeared in front of Naruto. Now he only had 1 sharingan left on his hand. Just 10 seconds, after that I will cast Kotoamatsukami on him, thought Danzo tactically. The genjutsu of his sharingan was very powerful, but there was a catch: he could just use it once a few months. If he had not implanted Hashirama Senju's DNA into Shisui's Mangekyo, then he doubted it could reactivate again before a few years. Danzo rushed towards Naruto, and sent a right hook towards his face, which Naruto blocked with his left hand. Naruto then gave a hard kick on Danzo's balls, and crushed them. He then grabbed Danzo's legs and dropped him to the ground. Naruto then flipped in the air and gave a hard punch that broke Danzo's skull. But the old freak vanished again. Naruto took a deep breath, and calmly looked behind him. Danzo was standing behind him, but blood was leaking from his crotch. Even if he had used a Zanagi for the last time, Naruto had destroyed his balls before he casted his jutsu. And for the first time in his life, Danzo looked pissed. Bastard, said Danzo angrily. I would prefer the word devil, said Naruto calmly. Danzo watched as the last sharingan on his hand closed forever, but it was worth it. It's over, said Danzo as his sharingan changed to Mangekyo form. Kotoamatsukami. Danzo took a deep breath, as he was now sure he had won, but he was quite shocked when Naruto slowly started walking towards him with his sword. Kotoamatsukami. Danzo casted his jutsu again, but Naruto did not stop, nor did he bow before him. Did his jutsu backfire? You are right, it's over. For you, said Naruto murderously. In one quick motion he stabbed his sword clean across Danzo's upper portion of chest and pinned him to the ground. How? Asked Danzo in pain. He couldn't understand what was happening. Naruto looked at his defeated opponent in a disappointed manner. Do you even have a Mangekyo Sharingan in your eye? Asked Naruto in an evil tone. Danzo's eyes widened in shock and fear, as he suddenly felt an unbearable pain in his left eye. Genjutsu. Kai, whispered Naruto darkly. Danzo's horror increased further as he realized he had no left eye at all. Danzo screamed in pain, as the sensations finally hit him, and a large amount of blood started dropping from his eyes. Impossible, said Danzo defiantly as he coughed up more blood, as Naruto pressed the sword in his chest more tightly. You lost your Mangekyo very early in the fight. From the moment you looked at my Mangekyo Sharingan you were in my genjutsu. The fact that I took out your eye, without you even realizing it, is a proof of that. Look where your eye is, said Naruto calmly. Naruto pointed his finger in another direction, and Danzo wearily saw a clone of Naruto holding the Mangekyo Sharingan in a jar. Danzo for the first time in his life felt outclassed. This boy, no, this devil had beaten him and had toyed with him during the entire fight. Naruto wanted him to feel despair. Simply by attaching a Sharingan in your body does not make you a skilled warrior. I could have killed you multiple times. But I want you to feel pain. I want you to feel misery that you brought on all of us. I killed my friends, my comrades. But all of this would happen because of your madness, said Naruto angrily and pressed the sword more deeper in Danzo's chest. Danzo closed his eyes. He was in pain. Everything was over. His dream was finished. Kill me, said Danzo tiredly. Your death won't be so easy. I'll make you feel pain. I'm going to make you watch as I cut every piece of your filthy body. And you won't die until I have destroyed your body and mind completely, said Naruto murderously. To prove his point, he took out a kunai and stabbed it in Danzo's remaining eye, making the old man scream in pain. Naruto then took out his kunai and started cutting Danzo's body in little pieces. He took his time, and made the man feel pain. Danzo screamed continuously, as Naruto started ripping out flesh from his stomach. It was hell, this was worse than death. Kurama watched in horror. As for the next 1 hour, Naruto destroyed Danzo's body piece by piece. It was cannibalism at its best. The way the boy was acting, and the look in his eyes showed how much pain he had suffered due to this man, and he was repaying every single penny of it back to Danzo. After 1 hour, the thing that remained was horrible. Danzo was alive, but his entire body was ripped to shreds, with just a few veins holding his body. Naruto had cut him in such a way that he didn't die, and every moment he felt pain, and it became worse with each passing second. And after this monstrous torture, Danzo broke. He started crying as the pain was beyond his limit, but no tears slipped as both of his eyes were no longer there. He was coughing up blood, but he was still not dying. Did you feel pain? Asked Naruto sadistically. Said Danzo weakly. His voice was so low. I cannot hear you, said Naruto darkly. Kill me, pleaded Danzo in pain. Naruto so wanted to cause this man more pain, but there was nothing left to destroy. Beg, said Naruto firmly. What? Asked Danzo again. He couldn't hear anything properly, everything was blurry. I said beg, yelled Naruto angrily. Kill me, please. For your crimes against this village, my friends, my daughter, and my comrades, die you bastard. Yelled Naruto loudly. Amaterasu. Black flames started burning what was left of Danzo, as the man screamed in pain. Naruto turned around. His vision had decreased greatly, and everything looked very hazy. He collapsed on his knees and coughed up a river of blood. The pain was horrible, even his body had not experienced so much pain before. But as he heard Danzo's last scream, only one thought went through his mind. It's finally over, thought Naruto sadly. The events of the night now finally took a toll on Naruto, as he couldn't control his pain anymore. He started crying in agony. He felt like a monster. He truly was a devil now. Everywhere around him was death. His comrades were dead. His friends were dead. His teachers were dead. Sai was dead. Please, somebody help me, thought Naruto in pain. But no one was there. He was all alone, and his cries rang unanswered in the bass as he cried for the next 30 minutes. 30 minutes later, Naruto wiped away the tears from his eyes. His vision had deteriorated, but he could see a little better now. He looked back and saw Danzo's entire body had turned to ash, and was now disappearing in smoke. Danzo Shimura was now dead. He was completely wiped out from the world, not a single piece of his body was left. Naruto picked up his sword and walked towards his clone. He then took the jar which had Danzo's Mangekyo Sharingan in it from the clone, and dispelled him. This eye can prove to be very useful, said Kurama calmly. Hi, said Naruto in a dead voice. Let's get out of this base, said Kurama gently. Naruto looked at the corridor. It was a long way back out, and it was just going to make him feel more worse. Few minutes later, Naruto slowly walked out of the root base. He was walking slowly, his eyes showed he was dead. His soul was broken. He looked ahead and saw the Anbu commander a few meters ahead, and he was healing Rei. He then slowly walked towards his daughter. How is she? Asked Naruto worriedly. The Anbu commander looked at the boy sympathetically. He now understood why Naruto couldn't kill this girl. After all, no good father could ever kill his own daughter. And Naruto was no exception either. The commander's eyes softened as he saw Naruto hug his daughter gently, and the silent tears that slipped from the young boy's eyes. My God! What have we done to our children? Thought the Anbu commander sadly. He then saw Naruto performing a few hand seals, and he put a hand on Rei's forehead. What are you doing? Asked the commander quickly. Naruto looked at the man tiredly. He had to do this for her. I am sealing of her memories. She won't remember any of this, said Naruto gently. But that means. She won't even remember you, said the commander sharply. It's for the best, commander. She should not remember such horrible things that occurred tonight. She's just a small child. If I make it back alive, I'll stay with her for the rest of my life, said Naruto slowly. But what should we tell the girl? She will ask questions about her identity, her life, her family. Asked the commander curiously. Naruto took out a small letter from his pocket, and gave it to the commander. Ask the Hokage to send her to Kurenai Yuhi. She is the only one who can look after her. And give this letter to Rei if she asks a question about her family. It will save you guys from a lot of questions. It does not say that I am her father. But it will ease her pain, said Naruto gently, as he caressed his daughter's cheeks. Hi, I'll inform Hokage-sama. Here is the package you requested, said the Anbu commander seriously. He then took out 2 scrolls, and unsealed one of them. It seemed to have some items. There was a black t-shirt with the Uchiha crest on it. There were black Anbu pants and combat boots too. The scroll also had a black cloak, and fingerless gloves, and a set of kunai, shuriken, exploding tags and a med kit. There was a pouch which had a lot of money in it. Naruto slowly removed his now destroyed uniform, and put on the new black t-shirt and Anbu pants. He gently slipped the new fingerless gloves through his hands and put on the black combat boots. He stuffed the kunai, shuriken, exploding tags, and med kit in his various pockets and strapped his sword on his back. He put on the black cloak on his body. Finally he took his forehead protector in his hands, and with the help of a kunai made a clean slash across it. He then put the slashed forehead protector on his head. This the forbidden scroll of our village. You will be branded as a traitor who stole this scroll and killed several Anbu who got in your way. You are an S-rank missing nin now, do you understand, Captain Naruto? Asked the Anbu commander seriously. Hi, commander, said Naruto seriously. We can only provide you 3 days to rest and heal your injuries. After that you will be hunted down. But the Hokage will try to limit the people he sends after you. Your main objective is clear: infiltrate the enemy army and provide intel. Failure is not an option. If you are caught, we will deny any knowledge of your actions. Until your mission is over, the village will not help you under any circumstances, are we clear? Asked the Anbu commander clearly. Loud and clear, said Naruto firmly. The Anbu commander then nodded. Now Naruto decided to ask something. Where is he? Asked Naruto sadly. The Anbu commander pointed towards a tree. Naruto looked back and his eyes became moist as he saw Sai in a body bag. Both the men then slowly walked towards the fallen shinobi. What should we do with him? Do you want his name to be associated with you in this massacre? Asked the Anbu commander curiously. No. He deserves better. Leave him out of this please, requested Naruto. Very well. He will receive the Konoha cross for his bravery. We will give him a proper military funeral and his name will be enlisted on the memorial stone, for his sacrifice which he made for this village, said the Anbu commander in a soft tone. A few tears came in Naruto's eyes as he looked at his friend's body. He then put a hand in his pouch and took out something. It was a black face mask. This was the first thing, which I got as a gift. And I want you to have it. I cannot thank you enough. You were a good friend to me till the end. And I will forever be indebted to you, said Naruto sadly. He then put the face mask on Sai's face, and gently put a hand on his heart. The Anbu commander watched silently, as the young boy wept for his friend for a few moments. A few days ago, before this mission, Konohamaru asked me, why do we ninja fight for people who we don't even know? He asked me if I thought of myself as a hero. Back then I didn't have an answer, said Naruto slowly. And now? Asked the Anbu commander curiously. If he asks me now, I'll say no. None of us asked to be a hero. It's just the circumstances that gives birth to heroes. Rest in peace, Sai, said Naruto in a broken voice. He then covered Sai's face with his body bag, and slowly got up and went towards Rei. Naruto took Rei in his arms, and gave her a short kiss on her cheek. I have only caused you pain. And no matter what I say, I cannot take away your pain. But still I wish you can forgive me one day, said Naruto gently. He looked at his daughter lovingly. Now that he thought about it, he did not know what a father says to his child. The only parental figure he had was Kakashi, and let's just say he was not a good role model for a father, a big brother sure. But not a father. I don't know what to say as your father. I just want you to live happily, make friends, and eat lots of ramen. It's the best thing in the world, said Naruto a little happily. The Anbu commander chuckled a little on hearing the boy's advice. He has a long way to go on becoming a good father, but his heart is pure, thought the commander calmly. Sleep properly, and enjoy your time at the academy. Play pranks on your friends, train hard. Said Naruto sadly, as more tears slipped from his eyes. The Anbu commander stepped forward and put a hand on the boy's shoulders. Naruto gave him a grateful nod. It seemed the man understood his pain as a fellow soldier. And try not to follow my path. And no matter what people say you should be what your heart tells you to be. If I make it back alive, I promise I'll make it up to you, promised Naruto firmly. We'll take care of her, said the Anbu commander gently. Rei-chan. No matter what happens I'll always love you, said Naruto lovingly, and kissed Rei for one last time. He then gently wrapped a small necklace around Rei's neck, and slowly got up. Naruto's eyes hardened and he gave one last salute to his commander. The Anbu commander saluted him back with respect. Just as Naruto turned around, he heard the commander's voice. Naruto. Things are going to get worse from now, said the Anbu commander gently. It looked as if he was talking to Naruto not as a commander but as a fellow soldier. There are still enemies out there, said Naruto firmly. When the people find out what you did, they'll call for your blood, warned the Anbu commander. Naruto didn't turn around, and instead answered in a calm and gentle voice. When they find out, they'll call me a monster, a demon, a butcher and all kinds of vile crap. But I won't give them a goddamn answer, said Naruto firmly. The Anbu commander was now generally curious. He knew the mission was a top secret, so Naruto was bound to keep quiet, and he knew Naruto was one of the most loyal shinobi this village ever had. But still, how would the boy bear the hatred of the entire world? Why? What reason apart from the mission do you have that you would not answer the people's accusations? Asked the Anbu commander curiously. Naruto turned around and looked straight into the commander's eyes, and the man clearly understood the message. It's because they won't understand. They won't understand why I did this. They won't understand it was to save the future of this village, and you know the children are our future. That's it. That's all there is to it, said Naruto sadly, and the Anbu commander felt the passion in the boy's words and the pain behind them. Hi, said the Anbu commander sadly. Naruto started walking away, and a lone tear slipped from the commander's eyes in respect for the boy and his determination. This was just the beginning of his struggle, his pain. Operation Ghost had just began. Chapter 26. New faces. He ran as fast as his legs could take him. His vision was hazy, and blood was continuously dripping like a river from his mouth. Every cell in his body was burning, and it was taking all of his energy not to scream. This person was none other than Naruto Uchiha, the last Root Anbu captain, one of the 3 biggest traitors of the Hidden Leaf Village, and an S-rank criminal. For the past 3 days he had ran without stopping for even a second. The damage he had suffered during the mission was catastrophic. His comrade and best friend Sai Sato was killed in action, and Naruto's own body looked to be damaged beyond repair. He had overused his Mangekyo sharingan so much that his vision was just a blur most of the time. It was fair to say, Operation Ghost had a very bad start. Danzo and Root were neutralized, but Naruto knew if he continued further, his chances of dying were very high. The fact that, after tonight he would be the primary target of the hunters of Konoha. And the entire shinobi world would be after his head. He could certainly take on many shinobi. But if an S-class shinobi showed up, in his current condition he would lose. One thing was clear, he would have to watch his back for the rest of his remaining life. That was his destiny. Where are we going? Asked Kurama curiously. Cough, cough. There is only one place right now, where we can rest safely. And there is only one person who I trust completely right now. And she can probably save me, said Naruto tiredly as more blood dropped from his mouth. Your body is damaged at a cellular level. Since Danzo has been killed, the seal has been destroyed. But the damage has already been done. It looks as if this virus is destroying your cells. If your mother was not an Uzumaki, you would be dead in a few days, explained Kurama briefly. Ha, ha, I know, said Naruto tiredly, his breathing was becoming more hard. This person. Who is she? Asked Kurama simply. Have you already forgotten her? Asked Naruto stoically. Kurama frowned. It was not his habit of remembering pitiful human beings, but more than that he was quite frustrated with Naruto too. The boy had become so quiet that he barely talked with the tailed beast. Naruto only talked when Kurama asked him a question. And whenever Kurama asked anything related to Sai, Naruto would become so quiet that Kurama could feel the despair the boy felt. Kurama's respect for Naruto had increased since that night, the things the boy had done. The things he had seen, losing a close friend, and still Naruto was going on. But Kurama wondered how much longer could Naruto survive like this. His humanity was at risk of being destroyed. I don't know who this person is, said Kurama flatly. She is the world's best scientist after Orochimaru. And one of the best medics and infiltrator I have ever known, said Naruto seriously. Kurama now realized who this person was. How could he forget that woman? No Yakushi. Was it? Asked Kurama quickly. Yes. The ex-medic chief of the Root Anbu Black Ops. She was the one who taught me infiltration and medical ninjutsu. And is the only Root Anbu left in the world apart from me, explained Naruto flatly. For once Kurama felt relived. If there was anyone who understood Naruto, then it was this woman. Not only did she train him to be one of the best infiltration expert, but she kept giving Naruto mental support. If not for her, he would have lost his soul years back. Kurama still remembered those horrible boot camp days of Root. The things they put young children through was unbearable. And Naruto had watched many of his comrades die one after the other in the training. Root training was the most brutal training in the world. A shinobi would either pass the training camp, or would die in the process. If you got injured, your injuries won't be healed, you have to survive for days and accomplish your objective. Starving for days, traveling through the most dangerous terrains. The causality rate of this training was catastrophic. It was as high as 90%, which meant that out of 100 recruits, only 10 would pass boot camp while the rest would die. The main objective behind this was to get the best shinobi. And get rid of the weaklings. A harsh truth, but this was the reality of the shinobi world. While the rest of the world lived in light, Naruto lived in darkness. He was the last of an elite group of soldiers. And his struggle was just beginning. Looking at the long forest of trees ahead made Kurama sigh. They still had to travel for 2 more hours. Konoha. It was midnight in Konoha. And the village was having a peaceful night, but everything was going to change tomorrow morning when the news would become public. Hiruzen Sarutobi sat in his office, and he was holding a small book which had a new picture added in it. There was an entire page which had information about the boy, no man, who was now the 3rd biggest trader of Konoha. Name: Naruto Hatake. Age: 14 to 15. Gender: male. Origin: Konohagakure. Shinobi rank: Chunin. Caliber rank: S. Known clan affiliation: Uzumaki clan. Known element affinities: Fuden, Kaden, Sweden and Raiden. Skill list: Taijutsu 3, Ninjutsu 5, Genjutsu 5, Intelligence 4, Strength 3, Speed 5, Stamina 5, Hand seals 5, Weapons: sword made of black metal with a red guard and black sheath. Physical description: stands 5 foot 6 and weights 155 pounds. Golden blonde hair and blue eyes, tan skin, and is known to wear traditional leaf shinobi attire. Special abilities: a skilled sensor. Known family: Hatake Kakashi, adoptive brother. Crime: slaughtered more than 300 Anbu Black Ops, stole the Forbidden Scroll and caused great destruction of property. Bounty. 50 million Ryo dead or alive stationed by Konoha. Is this information appropriate, Hokage-sama? Asked the Anbu commander who was standing beside Hiruzen. Ever since that night, the Anbu commander had worked continuously in order to hide this incident, and give Naruto the required time to escape to his hideout. Yes, we cannot disclose his identity as an Uchiha, but with this much information he would at least be considered a formidable threat which is required for his undercover operation, said Hiruzen seriously. The Anbu commander decided to ask a question which had been bugging him since the past 3 days. Hokage-sama, can I ask you something? Requested the Anbu commander. Speak freely, commander, said Hiruzen flatly. With all due respect, I don't know if you have made the right choice by sending the young boy on such a suicidal mission, said the Anbu commander truthfully. Hiruzen's head dropped in shame, but he knew this had to be done. You think I like this? Not a single second passes when I'm not thinking about Naruto. I watched the boy grow up and took care of him as best as I could. Do you think being a Hokage is a good job, where you only do paperwork, give speeches to young academy kids, and assign missions? Asked Hiruzen harshly. I didn't mean it like, said the Anbu commander quickly, but was stopped when Hiruzen raised his hand. This position is bloody. It is corrupt. Believe me, if someone more capable than me was available I would hand him this position, but the fact is there is no one. You have to send young kids to their deaths. This is not a fairy tale, this is the shinobi world where the strong survive and the weak perish. The fact that Konoha is facing another war is a more serious matter, explained Hiruzen sternly. The Anbu commander just sighed. Every word his leader has said was the truth. What intel have we got from Jiraiya-sama's spy network? Asked the Anbu commander quickly, as he didn't want to anger the Hokage more. Hiruzen took in a deep breath. He had to calm down. The enemy had started playing their cards and he had to think his strategy too. Suna is acting very suspicious. The Kazekage assures me that they have no problem with Konoha and want peace. But I'm not a senile old man, I know what Suna is up to. The Wind Daimyo has already cut their funding in favor of handing us more missions, so we are soon going to have a war with them. We still don't have any word on Orochimaru and his activities, even after all these years. That brat is sneaky as ever, said Hiruzen bitterly. What about Iwa and Kumo? Asked the Anbu commander. I have an operative who has been keeping an eye on Iwa since the past few years. Onoki is a madman who still hates us for his shameful defeat in the Third Great Ninja War, but even he knows the world is not ready for another Great Ninja War. So he has not taken any official action. But if Jiraiya's reports are true, then he has been secretly funding many criminal organizations, who have hundreds of missing ninjas under their nose. Kumo is still the wild card here, either they are staying neutral or are planning something big. You know where this is heading, said Hiruzen suggestively. Understood. My soldiers have got some disturbing news too, said the Anbu commander seriously. What is it? Asked Hiruzen quickly. There have been rumors about Sky Country Ninja. My operatives have been getting sketchy reports that some of them have survived. It seems we have failed to destroy them totally in the previous war, explained the commander. Shit. Just keeps getting worse, said Hiruzen angrily. Sky Country was a small village who waged war against all 5 great nations, but were ultimately defeated by Konoha in the Third Great Ninja War, with the help of Minato Namikaze. The Sky Shinobi specialized in aerial combat and advanced weapons. If not for Minato and his Hiroshin, Konoha would have been pushed to the edge of defeat. Even if they were rumors, if the Sky Ninja had survived, then Konoha just got added on another enemy's hit list. I want your Anbu to keep searching for those idiots, find them, hunt them and kill them. I don't want any survivors, ordered Hiruzen firmly. As you wish, said the Anbu commander seriously. Hiruzen looked at the shinobi world map in his office, and his village which was right in the middle of it. He had lived through 3 wars, all his friends were now dead except for Homura. He knew countless shinobi had sacrificed their lives to protect their home, so many young kids had died in the shadows just so the people of Konoha and Fire Country could live peacefully. This was the price that every soldier had to pay. And Naruto was no exception either. He wasn't the first soldier who was callously being used and sacrificed for Konoha, and he won't be the last either. Yamato, Do you know my father, my brother, my elder son, all of them died for this village. None of the people of this village remembers their names, but still they died in order to give this village a better future. You think Naruto is the only one suffering in this world? Asked Hiruzen sadly. No. Each one of us have suffered pain, said the now named Yamato, aka the Anbu commander, as he remembered how his life had turned out. My younger son Asuma does not understand me. My daughter-in-law is living as a widow. My grandson is growing up without a father. Right now Konoha is facing a great danger. Our enemies are uniting. Even Jiraiya cannot get all the information we want. He cannot reach everywhere at the same time. He is just one man, explained Hiruzen briefly. That is why you needed someone on the inside, didn't you, Sandaime-sama? Asked Yamato sharply. Yes, I need to know every single thing about our enemies. I want their plans, their strength, their weapons. I need every goddamn information there is to know. I won't endanger Konoha at any costs, even if I will be known as a cruel leader who sent a young boy to his death. I have done that in the past, I am doing it now. And if situation calls for it, I will do this again in the future, said Hiruzen harshly. Yamato nodded. The Hokage was right. Thousands of innocent lives were at stake here. Hiruzen knew this. Yamato knew. Saisato knew it. And Naruto knew it too. And despite all of this, they were doing what was the right thing. Regardless of their personal feelings, they were doing their duty. They were soldiers. But still. Do you think Naruto can do this all alone? He lost his friend and comrade. And Hokage-sama, it has shaken him up. He is already suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. That is why I strongly recommend giving him backup, said Yamato firmly. Hiruzen thought about the idea. Even he knew what Naruto had gone through. And he felt sorry for the poor boy. Yamato was right. Sai was not only Naruto's friend, but also a skilled spy and tactical fighter. He was the one who had kept Naruto sane till now, and with him dying while saving Naruto would have severely broken Naruto's morale. Naruto needed someone, a shinobi who was not only strong but one who could endure as much pain as Naruto had endured, and help keep him sane through the mission. Hiruzen made a decision. He had to send help in order to protect his surrogate grandson. Yamato, send our fastest messenger Hawk to our secret hideout within Iwagakure, said Hiruzen quickly, and started writing instructions on a scroll. Yamato's eyes widened when he heard what the Hokage had said. There was only one operative there. Was the Hokage really serious about this? Hokage-sama, are you sure about this? Asked a shocked Yamato. Yes, we are sending Operative Blackwolf to provide assistance in Operation Ghost. In a small room in a brothel sat a man. On both of his sides were two girls who were completely naked. He was none other than Jiraiya, the legendary Sannin, and the most powerful shinobi of the ninja world. Man, these girls were wild, thought Jiraiya perversely. His thoughts then drifted back to Konoha. It had been more than a decade since he had left the village. For these past few years, he had been constantly keeping an eye on Konoha's enemies, and he knew there were dark times ahead. There was a very suspicious organization on the rise, and he had not found any information related to Orochimaru. It was as if the snake Sannin had vanished from the face of the earth, but Jiraiya knew his friend better. What are you up to, Orochi-tem? Thought Jiraiya with a frown. But most of all he was worried about his godson, Naruto. He had been in constant touch with Hiruzen, and he was sad and happy at the same time. He was sad that his godson had a troubled childhood, and many people hated him, but he was happy that Kakashi had taken care of the boy and had trained him well. He felt extremely proud when Naruto awakened the sharingan. He so badly wished to see the boy when he was made Chunin. But his duties always got in the way. He had to run the spy network. Suddenly there was a small puff of smoke in the room, and there was a small monkey now standing on Jiraiya's chest. There was a small scroll strapped on the monkey's legs. Jiraiya understood it was his sensei's summons, and he had sent him a message. Getting up from his bed, he put on his clothes and then slowly unsealed the scroll. He then started reading it, and his eyes widened in shock and fear when he saw Naruto's picture in the bingo book. And his surrogate godson was now an S-rank missing nin. He quickly jumped from the window of his room and performed a set of hand seals quickly. Kuchio's number jutsu, summoning jutsu. A large toad appeared in the alley. It had battle armor on its chest, and a sword in its hand. Jiraiya, what do you need me for? Asked the toad curiously. We are going back home. In a small bar, sat a woman. She was wearing a green haori with gambler written on its back. Her tight gray pants showed her well-toned legs and her firm ass. She had her silkily blonde hair tied in a long ponytail that reached up to her ass. Beside her was a beautiful woman. She had short brunette hair and a small cute face. She was holding a small pig in her arms and had a worried expression on her face. They were none other than Tsunade Senju and Shizune Kato. Tsunade's life had been one sad story. She was born into the great Senju clan and was the granddaughter of Hashirama Senju and Mito Uzumaki. She grew up to become one of the strongest shinobi of Konoha, but still she could not save the ones she loved most. Her parents died in the First Great Ninja War, shortly after her grandfather. Her younger brother Nawaki, and her lover Dan were killed simultaneously in the successive world wars. She could never forget the pain when she saw the two people she loved the most die. It still haunted her. Her grandmother died too, but then Kushina and Minato came in her life. Kushina was her cousin, and her cheerful attitude had helped to ease Tsunade's pain. But Kami again had to ruin her life. The Kyuubi attack happened and Kushina and Minato died protecting the village, like every important person in her life had died. But as some people say, where there was darkness there was light too. She came to know that her cousin had a son born that night, and she had been asked by the Hokage to look after the child. At first she was nervous. She didn't know what a mother was supposed to do, but she knew she had to take care of Kushina's son. Quite frankly, the boy had become the joy of her life. He again brought the happiness in her life. She wanted to stay with him and provide the love of a mother. But she could never stay in Konoha. That place only brought her more painful memories. She wanted to take Naruto with her and raise him. But she was denied permission. Naruto was declared as the village's asset as he was a Jinchuriki, and was forbidden to leave the village. She and her student Shizune had fought tooth and nail to take Naruto with them. But they failed. And she was given a choice to either stay with Naruto or leave the village and do whatever she liked, but she could not take Naruto with her. And she made a decision. A choice, which she regretted now. She chose to abandon her nephew as she couldn't overcome her pain of staying in Konoha. She felt ashamed now. After a few years, she realized her mistake, but it was already too late. Naruto had been adopted by Kakashi Hatake, and was living a normal life again. She knew she would only cause him more pain if he found out that she abandoned him, and so despite the pain in her heart, she chose to let go of Naruto, and let him live in peace. Even after all these years, not a single day passed when she and Shizune never thought about the little blonde boy. They had not kept any ties with the village, but Hiruzen had assured her that Naruto was happy and was living a good life. That was the only thing keeping her going. She really wanted to meet the boy. She loved him very much. There was suddenly a puff of smoke and a small monkey stood in front of her and Shizune. It had a small scroll strapped on its feet, and Tsunade realized it was her sensei's summons. Shizune took the scroll and handed it over to Tsunade. Tsunade unsealed the scroll, and both the women blushed a little when they saw a picture of a handsome blonde boy in a book. That senile old pervert, thought Tsunade irritatingly, was her sensei joking with her. But Shizune's eyes widened when she saw what the title of that book was. Tsunade-sama. It's the bingo book, said Shizune in surprise. Tsunade got curious, and then she looked closely at the picture of the handsome man, and her eyes widened in shock, as she read what was written on it. That face. Those blue eyes. She could never forget who this person was, and her eyes started burning with feminine fury as she finished reading the scroll. Her hands glowed with chakra, and she smashed the table in front of her to a million pieces. All the people around her collapsed on the ground as she leaked all her ki. Even Shizune was finding it difficult to breathe, despite being a shinobi and her student. Tsunade-sama, what happened? Asked Shizune with heavy breaths. Tsunade's ki was making it very hard to breathe. Hiruzen Sarutobi, I'm gonna kill you. Chapter 27. A Broken Heart. Naruto stared at the house in front of him, or rather the people in it. There were a few children in the house, who were playing with each other, and were enjoying their innocent childhood. It was morning, and the sun had rose up in the sky, and its shiny rays were falling on Naruto's battered and tired body. He had reached his destination, but he was tired, and he knew anytime he was going to collapse from exhaustion. He remembered that today was the day when Hiruzen was going to declare him a traitor and AS-ranked missing nin. A tired sigh escaped from Naruto's lips, but his lonely eyes were still set on the children in the house. He idly wondered if he could have had such a childhood, if his parents were alive. That certainly appeared to be a good life, than the one he was currently living. Hearing the laughter of the children brought painful memories of the past, and he saw reflections of some of his childhood friends, who were no longer with him. Why was he the only one? Why did he survive when so many of his friends died in the training of Root Camp? Their screams still rang in his mind, and every day he lived with these horrible memories. For the people around him, he never showed how he truly felt, not even Kurenai knew about the loneliness in his heart. If he had just died during training, then all of this would not have happened. And perhaps he would not have to live in such a hell. But he survived, he lived every damn time, when the people around him fell, and this was the price he was paying for surviving in this cruel shinobi world. You are still the same lonely kid, Naru-chan, said a soft feminine voice. A small tiny smile came on Naruto's lips, he had finally found her, the only person who completely understood him, all his sadness, his misery, his guilt, and the pain in his heart. Turning around he saw a woman standing behind him. She had a very cute angular face, shoulder-length black hair, and coif light-colored eyes that showed the kindness in her heart. She was wearing a black, loose-fitting gown with a white apron over it with sandals. The woman looked to be in her mid-30s, but Naruto could still feel the power that was radiating from her body. She definitely was a strong ninja. Looking at her brought a few tears in his eyes, it had been such a long time since he had seen her. No sensei, said Naruto happily. But suddenly his legs felt wobbly and he started falling towards the ground, but felt a pair of soft hands embrace him gently. Sensei, said Naruto tiredly. He wanted to talk to her but his eyes were closing and he knew he was going to fall unconscious. The last thing he heard before sleep overtook him, brought a small smile on his face. Shish. You're finally home, my Naru-chan. Few hours later. Naruto slowly opened his eyes, everything was looking very blurry and there was a constant pain in his eyes. He slowly rubbed his eyes for a few moments, and again opened them. This time his vision cleared a little, it was not much but something was better than nothing. He looked around and saw he was in a small room, his shinobi gear was lying neatly on a small table in front of him. His sword was cleaned of all the blood, and his clothes were drying up in the balcony. The room was small, but the bed was so soft and warm. He looked at his body, and realized he was heavily bandaged and majority of his wounds were healed, and he was lying on the bed in his boxers. Suddenly he started coughing violently, and a few drops of blood came out his mouth. He heard hurried footsteps approaching his position, and before he realized it Nono was in front of him and had laid him on the bed again. Her hands were glowing with green chakra and were focused on his chest, but Naruto never missed the worried look in her eyes. The look which a mother gives to her child. He tried to say something but she cut him off. Stay still and let me heal you first, said Nono firmly. Naruto just nodded and looked up at the ceiling of the room while Nono healed him with her medical ninjutsu. His eyes closed for a second, but flashes of the horrible night came in his mind and his eyes opened immediately. Nono was looking at him with a sad look on her face, she knew what he was going through. She had seen many war veterans, and the horrors which they had seen had broken them, and right now Naruto was such a broken person. Nono put a hand on his face and caressed his cheeks affectionately. She had once been a part of Root Anbu Black Ops, she had spent her youth protecting Konoha by doing various Black Ops missions, but she had started to get tired. Nono was really against Danzo's methods of training young children in such horrible ways. But her protests were always cast aside. In the name of Konoha's future needs sacrifices, she hated that bullshit agenda of Danzo. Then Naruto came in her life. The boy was unique, he was powerful but he showed her something which she had forgotten due to her service in Root. She was tasked with training him in infiltration and medical ninjutsu by Danzo. Naruto was a bright student but most of all he showed her that she was still human. Nono grew closer to the boy with each passing day, he was such a lively kid back then, always having a smile on his face, helping his friends, and never giving up no matter what the odds were. She watched him grow from a lovely child to a cold-blooded assassin. She knew a part of Naruto's soul was destroyed when his friend Shin died, whom he loved as a brother. But despite all of this, he never forgot her, and as soon as he became a Root Anbu captain, he immediately threatened Danzo to discharge her from service. He knew she was tired of Root, and wanted to live a peaceful life and take care of some orphan children. He fought tooth and nail for her, and ultimately Danzo had to agree to Naruto's demands, as the boy was more beneficial to his cause more than Nono, and thought of it as an opportunity of making the boy more loyal to him. But none of that mattered to Nono. The fact that Naruto rescued her from that hell, and helped her set up her orphanage was more than what she ever expected from him. He kept her hidden from Danzo all these years, as both of them knew that Danzo never allowed loose ends. From time to time, he provided her financial aid in running her small orphanage. She had told him she could manage, but he always said that he wanted to help and maybe this way he could atone for his sins. Nono really felt sorry. She didn't know what hell Naruto must have gone through after she had left. Many of the boy's friends died in training, and she had seen the despair the boy felt, but she still had some hope left as Naruto had one close friend. What was his name? Sai. Yes, that was his name, thought Nono. But looking at the now completely broken Naruto, made her realize something terrible must have happened, or else Naruto must not be in such a bad condition, both physically and mentally. The young blonde boy took a few deep breaths and calmed himself down. She was still amazed by the endurance capacity of Naruto. It's good to see you, Nono-sensei, said Naruto with a small smile. Nono looked at him briefly. His smile was true, but the grief in his eyes never went unnoticed by her veteran eyes. It's good to see you too, Naru-chan. But why are you in such a bad shape? Asked Nono worriedly. She wanted to ask him this question since the beginning. She was horrified by the condition his body was in. There were wounds all over his body, but most of all he had severe internal wounds. She had checked him, and found out that some type of poison or virus was spreading through his body and had almost destroyed 30% of his cells, and was still causing damage at an alarming rate. At this speed, the virus would kill Naruto in a few months. If he was not an Uzumaki, he would have been dead by now. His Sharingan eyes were badly damaged and had lost a lot of his eyesight. Had he overused his Mangekyo? She knew he had awakened the Mangekyo after his death match with Shin. Naruto never hid anything from her. And she really wished to help him. I can't tell you that. It's classified, said Naruto sadly, and averted his eyes from her. Another Black Ops mission. Why can't they let him live in peace? Thought Nono angrily. I understand. And I won't ask you what your mission is. I know how these things work. And it's better if I don't know. But remember this, I'm always here for you, said Nono kindly. Naruto gave a grateful smile to the woman. She really knew him better than anyone. Thank you, sensei, said Naruto with a smile. A silence followed between the pair, as both of them just looked at each other. It had been a long time since they had seen each other. How have you been? Asked Naruto softly. Better. The orphanage is running very well, thanks to you. The kids really make my life more happy, said Nono with a small smile. A small smile came on Naruto's face. He was glad that he was at least able to help the woman who was the closest thing he had as a mother. I'm glad you are doing well. The kids really can be a handful sometimes, said Naruto with a chuckle. You don't say, said Nono with a smile, as she remembered some of Naruto's pranks. Are things well en route? How is Sai? Asked Nono curiously. But one look in his eyes made her realize that she shouldn't have asked this. The dead look in his eyes, and the sadness in them showed her things were not well, and something must have happened to Sai. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked this, said Nono apologetically. It's not your fault. Sensei. I need your help, said Naruto hesitantly. Nono looked at the boy closely. He was definitely hiding something big. But she wanted to help him no matter what. I'm doing something dangerous. And I'm in deep shit. My body and my eyes have been badly damaged. Can you do something to help me? I understand if you don't, said Naruto, but was stopped when Nono looked at him sternly. I don't care how much trouble you are in. You are a son which I never had, you stood beside me when I needed you the most. And I will do whatever it takes to help you, said Nono seriously, and Naruto gave her a thankful nod. How bad is it? Asked Naruto after a few moments. It's very bad. I have started searching for a cure, but it will take time, said Nono truthfully. And my eyes? Asked Naruto curiously. They have been badly damaged too, your vision has been affected badly. And why the hell do you have a Mangekyo Sharingan in a jar? Asked Nono seriously. Naruto looked at her like a child who was caught stealing candy. Well, I kinda borrowed it, said Naruto sheepishly. Excuse me? Asked Nono with narrowed eyes. I have overused my Mangekyo Sharingan, and so I looked into the Uchiha's clan's records for a cure. And it said if a Mangekyo is overused the user would go blind, said Naruto truthfully. What? Asked Nono in shock. But before she could go further in shock, and start scolding him, Naruto put a hand on her shoulder and told her to calm down. But if I implant another Mangekyo Sharingan in my eyes, then I would gain the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, EMS, which would never allow me to go blind. Please believe in me, requested Naruto politely. Moron. Why do you always get yourself in trouble? Asked Nono tiredly. I don't know, said Naruto honestly. Sigh, I will study the Mangekyo you brought and see what I can do, said Nono seriously. Naruto felt a little happy, maybe this was what a mother truly was. Thank you, Ka-chan, said Naruto subconsciously. He didn't realize what he just said, the words just came out of his mouth. He looked up and saw Nono having a small smile on her face. I'm sorry, I didn't, said Naruto hurriedly, but was stopped when Nono put a hand on his mouth. It's all right. You are my child too, said Nono lovingly. A small tear came in Naruto's eyes and he wrapped his arms around Nono and hugged her tightly. He needed her. When he was with her he could forget about the terrifying memories. Even Kurama was grateful that this woman was there to support Naruto in this desperate time, as he saw her hugging him tightly and whispering comforting words in his ears. Naruto's true feelings started to surface, as the pain became unbearable and he cried more in the woman's arms. Nono didn't know what had happened that had broken her son in such a manner. She knew no matter what happened Naruto never broke down. She would find out the truth. I swear I'll protect you, no matter what, thought Nono with determination. She felt Naruto's sobs decrease, and gently laid him on the bed. He was soon going to fall asleep. Your wounds have not healed. You should rest. Sleep peacefully for a few hours, said Nono warmly. She then gave a short kiss on his forehead, and got up to leave. But she was stopped as Naruto gently grabbed her hand. She turned around and saw him giving her a pleading look. Can you? Said Naruto hesitantly. What is it, Naru-chan? Asked Nono gently, but she had a feeling what he was gonna ask. Can you stay with me? I can't sleep, said Naruto sadly. Nono gave him a motherly smile, and got in the bed. She gently laid beside him, and put his head on her shoulders. Naruto wrapped his arms around her waist tightly. He was holding on to her like she was his lifeline. Maybe the nightmares won't come if she was with him. His eyes started closing and he gently pressed his head more closer to her shoulder. Thank you, said Naruto slowly, and then he fell asleep. But he did not notice the tears flowing from Nano's eyes. She looked at Naruto and her heart broke when she saw him in such a state. He looked so weak, so vulnerable. What had those bastards done to him? I love you too, Naru-chan, said a tearful Nono, and kissed Naruto's head. Both of them then fell asleep, not knowing what the future had in store for them. Unknown location. In a small dark room, sat a person in a calm meditative pose. He was wearing Anbu uniform, and his face was covered by a black wolf mask. There was a fine sword strapped on his back. He was wearing arm guards and there were fine black combat boots on his feet. He had a well-toned body, with the proper muscles that showed he was a ninja. His black hair were clearly tied in a small ponytail. There was a puff of smoke in the room, and a small hawk with golden eyes appeared in front of the Anbu. It had a small scroll strapped on its back. The Anbu slowly took the scroll from the bird's back, and performed a few hand seals with great speed and swiped his blood across the scroll. The scroll opened and the Anbu then started reading the message which was sent from his leader. His eyes widened a little, when he read the details of his mission, and the task he was assigned by the Hokage. The Black Wolf masked Anbu then slowly burned the scroll away as he completed reading the order, and slowly got up to reach his destination. Captain Naruto. I look forward to meeting you. Chapter 28. A New Discovery. Naruto sat on a small warm bed. Another tired sigh escaped from his lips as he stared at the small light on top of the ceiling. Nono was standing beside him, and for the past 4 hours she had performed various diagnosis and tests in order to get additional information about his disease, and finding a way to restore his eyesight to full capacity. He had to hand it to the woman, she really knew her job, and looking over the large number of notes lying around, a little hope lingered in Naruto's heart. Maybe she could get him back to full strength. She had also studied Danzo's Mangekyo Sharingan, and was currently observing Naruto's cerulean blue eyes. So, what's the situation? Asked Naruto curiously. Nono gave a tired sigh. Working continuously for such long hours was indeed very tiring. She wiped some sweat from her forehead, and went to pick up a sheet of paper on which she had written her report on Naruto's condition. She was happy with some results, but more than that she was worried, there were some big complications too. Looking at the hopeful look in the young boy's eyes broke her heart, but she resolved herself, she would do whatever it takes to help him, and would not give up. What do you want to hear first, the good news or the bad news? Asked Nono flatly. Naruto thought about her question for a moment. What should he hear first? Moron. Go for the good news, said Kurama irritatingly. Naruto felt a little bad for his partner. He was not talking much with him, and Naruto knew it was his fault. Kurama had asked him several times whether he was okay or not. But Naruto didn't know what to say. What could he say anyway? That he was fine. It was far from it. He had still not forgotten about Sai. His friend was dead all because of him. He still remembered the moment when he watched one of his closest friends die again. And the operation was affected due to this. Sai was supposed to help him in spying. They had been assigned different sectors and targets. Their job was to gather information and send it to the Hokage as soon as possible, or eliminate the threat on the spot if given the order. But that task was now not possible, and Naruto knew that. He could use his shadow clones for spying, but in his current condition he didn't want to exert more damage on his already destroyed body. One thing was clear, he definitely needed reinforcement, or else the success of the mission would just be an illusion. Nano's voice snapped him back to reality and he looked at her calmly. Now, if you've stopped daydreaming, I have some good news for you, said Nono with a short smile. I really hope. You have something good for me, said Naruto honestly. I examined the Mangekyo Sharingan which you brought, and it is really unique. And it seems it has the first Hokage's cells implanted in it, said Nono in surprise. I know that, said Naruto distastefully, as he remembered Danzo and his abomination. Naruto. I won't lie, this eye is one of the best inventions I have ever seen, said Nono seriously. How so? Asked Naruto curiously. A few years ago, you had sent me some data of your Mangekyo Sharingan, you had just awakened it, and wanted to know everything you could. You remember that, don't you? Asked Nono quickly. Where are you getting at? Asked Naruto in confusion. And now when I examined your Mangekyo, I have found some shocking scientific results about the Mangekyo Sharingan, said Nono firmly. What's the problem with my eyes? Asked Naruto seriously. Before I tell you that, you need to learn some things about the human eye. The concept which I'm going to explain applies to every person, said Nono simply. Naruto nodded, and Nono then took out a small picture of the human eye. Now the unique thing was it had almost each and every part of the eye mentioned in it. The human eye allows a person to visualize his surroundings, but how does it happen? Asked Nono inquisitively. Naruto frowned in confusion. Science was never his cup of tea, and Nono chuckled a little on seeing her surrogate son's cluelessness. If you had paid attention in my class on human anatomy, then you wouldn't be so confused right now, scolded Nono playfully. Yes, mother, said Naruto with a pout on his face. Unknown to Naruto, Nono was trying to analyze his psychological condition too. She knew Naruto was an Anbu captain, and as such he could control his emotions better than most of the shinobi, but the condition in which she had found him showed her he must have been through hell. She was a standard medic, and as such it was her job to ease his pain, and help him stay sane. But she promised to herself that she was going to force him to retire from Anbu Black Ops after this mission. She didn't want him to suffer anymore. This would be his last mission. The cornea is the transparent front part of the eye that covers the iris, pupil, and anterior chamber. The cornea, with the anterior chamber and lens, refracts light, with the cornea accounting for approximately 2/3 of the eye's total optical power. The cornea contributes most of the eye's focusing power, explained Nono briefly. To make her point more clear, she showed Naruto the different eye parts with the help of the picture. Naruto was listening to her explanation very attentively, and something's had started to make sense his mind. I guess the Mangekyo Sharingan affects the cornea very badly, said Naruto suggestively. Nono got a proud smile on her face, and patted Naruto's head gently. You are not as dumb as you look, said Nono mischievously. Thanks. Hey, said Naruto loudly. Nono bonked him on the head, and got a smirk on her face. Maybe her small jokes and therapy would help him maintain his sanity long enough to complete his mission. Don't shout, or I'll not explain anything, said Nono with a smirk. Fine, said Naruto grumpily, but a small part of his heart felt a little happy. He wouldn't say it, but he was glad that she was around. The Mangekyo Sharingan severely destroys the tissues around the cornea. The more you use your Mangekyo, the more these tissues gets destroyed, which ultimately leads to blindness as the cornea gets totally destroyed, explained Nono briefly. How can I save my Mangekyo? Should I just implant the Mangekyo Sharingan I have directly? The Uchiha tablet said it would restore my eyesight back to full capacity, suggested Naruto. It is not that simple. Eye transplants are not always successful. It may cause more harm than benefit if something goes wrong. Also, in the case of the Mangekyo Sharingan, it is important to have the eye of a close sibling or parents, as their genetic structure is similar to your own, which would greatly increase the chances of success, explained Nono seriously. So, there is very little chance of restoring my vision, since this eye is not of any of my relative, asked Naruto sadly. No. There is a way, and this eye which you have brought is a clear example of it, said Nono happily. What do you mean? Asked Naruto curiously. The owner of this eye knew the side effects of a Mangekyo Sharingan, and most probably didn't have any siblings to swap his eyes with, in order to stop his blindness, so he found a new way, said Nono intriguingly. What way? Asked Naruto in confusion. In order to stop the destruction of the cornea, the person implanted the first Hokage's cells in his eye, said Nono shockingly. What? Said Naruto in shock. Did Danzo really think all of this? Idiot. You do remember that old freak and Orochimaru had worked together, said Kurama seriously. Sorry. I forgot about that, said Naruto embarrassingly. Said Kurama with a snort. How does Hashirama Senju's cells help to stop the blindness? Asked Naruto curiously. Hashirama Senju was the world's greatest medic ever. He could heal any wounds, if he was alive right now. He could have healed you easily. The Senju clan possessed great physical power and strength, and Hashirama was the strongest Senju. His cells had amazing strength which allowed him to heal his wounds no matter how serious in an instant. The Mangekyo Sharingan you have has these cells implanted in them. And due to their power they have completely stopped the destruction of the tissues around the cornea, and even if some of them get destroyed by any chance, these cells can regenerate these tissues and won't allow the user to go blind, explained Nono happily. Amazing, said Naruto in shock. This was truly a work of a genius, and there was only one man in the world who could achieve such feat. Orochimaru, said Nono sharply. Hi, I have found some evidence that he was involved with the user of this Mangekyo Sharingan, but for your own safety I cannot reveal anything further. I cannot lose you, said Naruto worriedly. Nono was touched by the strong feelings the boy had for her. I understand. I was an Anbu Black Op too. You can trust me. I can create and clone cornea with the help of the cornea of this Mangekyo Sharingan for both of your eyes, or you can try to find the other eye. I can create an artificial cornea, but it will take time, and lots of money and resources, which we don't have, said Nono sadly. She felt helpless right now. Naruto got a small smile on his face. Can you bring the scroll which is on the desk? Requested Naruto kindly. Nono nodded, but she was curious as to what was in that scroll. She handed the scroll to Naruto, and he swiped his blood across it. The scroll opened and Nano's eyes widened in shock, as she saw the stacks of Ryo in it. These are 1,000,000 Ryo, it'll help you get started. If you need more, just ask, said Naruto calmly. How do you have so much money? Even if you have saved your mission earnings, these must count to 40% of your money, said Nono in shock. This is not my money. Rather, these are the funds which I'm receiving for my mission. Don't worry, I am properly funded, assured Naruto gently. Naruto, this much amount of money are only assigned to operatives who are assigned SS rank mission, which in other words are suicidal mission, said Nono in fear. Yes, that is true, said Naruto hesitantly. He was quite surprised when Nono gave him a hard slap on his face, and grabbed him roughly by his shoulder. Are you out of your fucking mind? Yelled Nono angrily. Naruto for his part just looked at the woman calmly, he was expecting this kind of reaction from her. It is of great importance, Ka-san. There is no going back now, said Naruto gently. But you, said Nono in protest. Nothing is going to happen to me, assured Naruto warmly. Nono looked him straight in the eye, he was not going to back down, this mission seemed more personal to him. Please promise me one thing, said Nono worriedly. Anything, said Naruto honestly. You will leave the Anbu Black Ops after this mission. And you will survive no matter what, or I'll drag you back from hell and kill you myself, said Nono dangerously. I promise, said Naruto truthfully, even he wanted to leave Anbu after this mission, he wanted to look after his family. I will start the preparations for the operation, but it will be at least 4 months before I can create an artificial cornea for your other eye. If you can somehow gain the other Mangekyo sharingan, then I can perform the operation in 2 months, and your vision would be restored forever, explained Nono briefly. Understood, I'll try to hold out till then, said Naruto firmly. Nono bit her lip, now came the hard part and she didn't know how it would affect Naruto. Naruto sensed her hesitation and put a hand on her shoulder and squeezed it gently. What's the bad news? Asked Naruto calmly, he was prepared for the worst. This mission was more important than his life, the survival of his village depended on it. Sai had died for this cause, and he would make sure his sacrifice was not in vain. Nono looked at him straight in the eye, and told him a few words that were shocking. You are dying. Chapter 29. A mystery. A figure ran through the rooftops of Konoha at high speed. Civilians couldn't even see this person, while to ninja it seemed like a blur. Kurenai ran on top of the roofs with only one target in mind. In one of her hands was a bingo book, one which now depicted her lover as an S-rank criminal. She couldn't understand what was going on, her heart was beating so fast, sweat was continuously dropping from her forehead. Kami, what the hell is going on? Thought Kurenai worriedly. She was shocked beyond words when she woke up this morning, and read the new bingo book and found Naruto's picture in it. And more than that, he was an S-rank criminal, who had slaughtered 300 Anbu, and stole the forbidden scroll. Kurenai firmly believed that all of this was wrong, and Naruto was being framed for something he didn't do. But somewhere in her heart, she had a bad feeling about this, she couldn't fully understand Naruto after that incident. Flashback. Few days ago. Kurenai was laying on her bed, her head was closely pressed on Naruto's bare chest, and her arms were holding him firmly. Last night had been amazing, she never felt so much loved, so much wanted before. And the sex she had was like a dream come true for her. However, she did feel something strange in her mind. I'm just overthinking, thought Kurenai nonchalantly. Naruto. Last night was, said Kurenai, but was cut off as Naruto kissed her gently. She kissed him back passionately, and started exploring parts of his mouth smoothly with her tongue. Naruto soon allowed her more free rein and both of them had a make-out session for the next few minutes. After a while, Naruto broke the kiss, and looked at her lovingly. It was the best night of my life, thank you for everything, said Naruto warmly. You don't know how much I love you, Naruto, said Kurenai lovingly and kissed him on the chest. She felt Naruto's hands tightly grip the sheets of the bed, and for once she saw a pained look in his eyes. What's wrong? Asked Kurenai quickly. Naruto's eyes returned to their calm state, and he loosened his grip on the sheets. It's nothing. Your kiss just turned me on a lot, lied Naruto tactfully. Kurenai looked at him for a moment, and the look in his eyes was different than before. It was as if his smile was fake. Okay, said Kurenai hesitantly. She decided to ask him what was wrong, but was stopped as they heard knocking on the door. I'll get it. You get dressed, said Naruto calmly. Kurenai nodded, and Naruto got up and put on his pants, but just to tease her a bit he threw his shirt on her head. Hey, said Kurenai with a pout. She heard Naruto chuckle a bit, and got up and put on his shirt. She heard a loud voice again. Is Naruto in there? Asked a loud voice. She heard the sound of the door opening, and Naruto's calm voice. What can I do for you gentlemen? Asked Naruto calmly. Kurenai peeked a little through the hole in her room's door. She saw 4 men standing in front of Naruto, but they had one thing in common. All of them were Hyugas. We need to talk, said a Hyuga roughly. Kurenai recognized this man as Ko Hyuga, but where had she seen him? Shit, he is Hinata's bodyguard since her childhood, but what is he doing here? Thought Kurenai in confusion. Then she remembered what had happened in yesterday, when Hiashi was pissed at Hinata's horrible performance in the mission. Did you report Lady Hinata as a weakling? And a failure during the briefing to Hokage-sama? Asked Ko angrily. I only said what was the truth, said Naruto stoically. He knew what was coming. Suddenly 2 Hyugas grabbed him roughly by his collar, and slammed his against the wall. Naruto! Kurenai shouted when she saw him being attacked, and was about to jump to help him, when he said something. Stay out of this, said Naruto firmly. Kurenai wanted to protest, but when she saw his eyes she was terrified. They were slit blood red instead of his blue cerulean ones. Hi, said Kurenai sadly. Because of your report Hinata-sama is being casted into the branch family, and has been dishonored by Hiashi-sama and the main branch. Said Ko angrily. Kurenai's eyes widened in shock, when she heard what had happened to Hinata. Could Hiashi really do such a thing to her own daughter? But she was more shocked by Naruto's answer. Am I supposed to care? Asked Naruto coldly. What? Said all the Hyuga in shock. Before Kurenai could even blink, all the 4 Hyugas were lying flat on the ground and had blood leaking from their mouth. Impossible, thought Kurenai in shock. Only a few people had the ability to attack a Hyuga directly, less 4 of them. They could see an attack, even if their Byakugan was not active, their eyes could still see a direct attack. After all, they had the most precise eyes in the world. Only a Anbu captain, or cage-level shinobi could take down 4 Hyugas in a flash. Like I said before, Hinata's performance was pathetic. She was a ninja under my command, and I reported her performance during the mission honestly to the Hokage. What happens to her after that, or what your clan does to her is none of my business, said Naruto stoically. But, she was your friend. You know how much her father dislikes her. He just wanted a chance to cast her aside for Lady Hanabi, said a Hyuga in pain. And? Asked Naruto stoically. Bastard. You sold her out, said a middle-aged Hyuga angrily. Naruto just looked at the 4 men who were groveling in the dirt. Appearances can be deceiving. Like you made the mistake of assuming I'm a kind-hearted person, said Naruto distastefully. You could have saved her from this. You could have not revealed the truth and bashed her afterwards, said Ko tiredly. Do I look like a babysitter to you? Asked Naruto angrily. Huh? Asked Ko confusedly. I am a chunin of this village. And the only loyalty I have is to the Hokage and myself. I don't care about your clan. Nor do I care what you do to Hinata. Your clan is pathetic if they cast aside its heir without giving her a chance. All of you are the same. You think you have the right to judge people. The 4 of you accused me of selling her out. Hiashi accused his own daughter of being a weakling and didn't even do anything to help her. Who is the bastard now? Asked Naruto hatefully. You filthy little 9-tailed fox, said Ko angrily. Naruto gave him a hard punch to the face that sent him flying several feet away. He was just about to attack the rest of the Hyugas, when a voice stopped him. That's enough, Naruto, yelled Kurenai loudly, and the thing which she saw shocked her to the core. Naruto's sharingan was active. But instead of a 3-tomo sharingan, it was now a shuriken. She could clearly see the hatred in his eyes. This was not her Naruto. Flashback end. She was still terrified by those eyes. The eyes filled with hatred. Kurenai knew deep down that Naruto had started to change a lot since past few weeks. He was becoming more cold and more distant from everyone. Naruto even visited her very less. And since last 7 days she had not seen his face. The Hyuga incident was not reported as Hiashi apologized for his clan member's irresponsible action. And Naruto accepted it, saying he only retaliated as he was attacked first. As both the parties had reached a mutual agreement, the Hokage settled the matter. But Kurenai knew. Naruto was frustrated, he was hiding something big from her. She had known him for years, and she knew him better than anyone. At least that's what she thought. Until now. A few tears came in her eyes, as she thought about Naruto. His life was just a big sad story, but still he never gave up and fought against the odds. But it seemed he was always hiding something. Why? Why did you not tell me? What was troubling you? And now this, thought Kurenai sadly. She still hadn't accepted that Naruto had done such a genocide. And the only person who could prove her wrong was the Hokage himself. The man could answer all her questions and show her the truth. 4 more figures landed beside her and started running with her. Kurenai looked at them and found they were none other than Kakashi, Anko, Sasuke and Sakura. But all of them looked different. For the first time, Kakashi was not holding his Ika book, and his eyes showed he wanted answers right now. His hands were clenched tightly, and the look on his face was hidden due to his face mask. He and Naruto were so close, it must have hit him hard, thought Kurenai sadly. If this is some kind of joke, then I'm going to murder the one who played it, said Anko furiously. What is this nonsense? Naruto-kun cannot do such a thing. This is wrong, said Sakura defiantly. Kurenai looked at both the females. Anko had a kunai closely pressed in her hand. And right now someone had really pissed her off. Naruto was like a brother to Anko and the only person who could relate to his pain. Sakura had a shocked look on her face, but her eyes showed she was not accepting that one of her best friends was now the biggest traitor of Konoha, after Orochimaru and Itachi Uchiha. The only person who was not showing any feelings was Sasuke. He was running in a robotic way, and he had a stoic look on his face. It was as if he had gone through such feelings before. But the anger he had was going to surface soon, if someone didn't give him any answers, and his active sharingan showed he was out for blood. Naruto was the only family he had left, he was the pillar that was supporting him. And right now he felt as if someone had just stabbed him in the back. And memories of that night were coming back in his mind. No. This is not true. Not again, thought Sasuke furiously. Kurenai. It will be fine, Naruto is innocent, we all know this, said Sakura warmly, and put a hand on her shoulders. Kurenai gave a grateful smile to the girl. She was really thankful that these 4 had not given up on Naruto. The entire village was in an uproar, and everyone was furious, and everywhere shouts of "Kill the demon! That bastard! We should kill the traitor! Monster! Butcher!" All of these shouts were breaking Kurenai's heart with each passing moment. She couldn't believe the people which Naruto had protected with his life had so quickly turned against him. They were calling him a monster, when they had a part in making Naruto grow up this way. How dare they? They have no right to say such things to him. After what they did, said Kurenai murderously. Couple of other people called Naruto a monster. And Kurenai couldn't take it anymore. She took out a kunai from her pouch and jumped in the air, in order to slice their heads off. But someone grabbed her roughly and dropped her on the rooftop again. It was Kakashi, and he was looking at her calmly. This isn't the time to get emotional. And do something rash, scolded Kakashi. But they are, said Kurenai in protest but was stopped when Kakashi leaked his ki. Kurenai Yuhi, you are a Junin of Konoha, behave like one. Your personal feelings don't matter right now, we have situation at hand. And we need to get to the Hokage for further information. Get yourself together, said Kakashi harshly. Kakashi, you, said Anko in shock, she had never seen him speak so harshly. It only showed how much hurt he was, and so badly he wanted answers. Let's go, Sasuke, said Kakashi flatly. Both the men nodded, and hurriedly took off to the roofs leaving the women behind in shock. That baka, I'm going to kill him, said Anko irritatingly. Why can't they understand? Kurenai is in pain, said Sakura sadly. They are right. I was reckless. Let's go to Hokage-sama. Only he can say this nightmare is just a bad dream, said Kurenai stoically. Are you all right? Asked Anko worriedly. Like Kakashi said, my personal feelings don't matter. The only thing that matters is getting Naruto out of this mess, said Kurenai firmly. Hi, said Sakura and Anko with determination. All the kunoichi started running across the roofs quickly and soon reached up to their male counterparts. All of them nodded at each other and entered the Hokage tower, and made their way towards Hiruzen's office at lightning speed. Hiruzen heard footsteps approaching his position, and from the looks of it, it must be them. Looking at the Anbu commander beside him, a tired sigh escaped from his lips. It's time to face them, said the Anbu commander calmly. God help us both, said Hiruzen tiredly. After what we did, there can be no mercy for us, sir, said the Anbu commander sadly. As the evidence Naruto purposefully left behind ready? Asked Hiruzen quickly, as the footsteps were just on his door. Hi, said the Anbu commander firmly. The door of the office was roughly opened and 4 figures stepped in quickly. They didn't give any salute, they didn't even acknowledge the Anbu commander and said one thing. We need answers now. Hideout. Naruto sat calmly on top of Nano's house. There was a small bingo book in his hand, which had his picture in it. So it has begun, said Naruto calmly. What are you going to do? Asked Kurama curiously. Nothing is going to change. The mission will proceed as planned, said Naruto firmly. But you need to rest for a few more days. And find that woman if you want to live, said Kurama sternly. Now is not the time, said Naruto mysteriously. Kurama just got pissed after hearing the boy's careless answer. You idiot. You have 6 months left of your miserable life. And you are saying you don't have time to find the one person who can save your ass, said Kurama furiously. Precisely. I am already behind schedule, and I have to complete size objectives too. That leaves me no time to find Tsunade. There is no option left, said Naruto softly, even he didn't want to die. But the mission came first no matter what. I believe I can help you there, said a mysterious voice. Naruto's eyes widened in surprise, as someone had just gotten behind his back. Even if he was not in a good condition, he should have sensed any Chunin, or even Junin if they were near him. That only left one option. The person behind him must be an Anbu. And a damn good one. He turned around and saw his prediction was true, as there was an Anbu standing behind him with a sword strapped on his back. But the most unique thing was his black wolf face mask. The Anbu tossed a small scroll to Naruto. Who catched it carefully, he then saw the mark which the scroll had on it. He is definitely sent by the Hokage, thought Naruto as he remembered the seal which his scroll had too. I'm your new partner in Operation Ghost, said the Anbu stoically. Naruto looked at the man suspiciously, he didn't know who this soldier was. And whether he could trust him or not. Who are you? Asked Naruto carefully. The Anbu slowly removed his black wolf mask and now looked at Naruto calmly. I'm. Chapter 30. The Turn of a Hero. We need answers now. Hiruzen calmly stared at the 4 people in front of him. Kakashi was looking at him very seriously and was in no mood for any silly jokes. Anko was looking at him as if he had just killed the closest person in her life. She was ready to kill if he said the wrong word, even though Hiruzen knew Anko was no match for him. In fact, no one in the room was. He still felt a little uncomfortable with the look Anko was giving him. Kurenai had a desperate look in her eyes. He could see anger in those ruby eyes too, and he prayed to Kami-sama to give the woman strength. Sakura looked worried and nervous. There were 2 reasons. One was the ki that the 3 Junins in the room were leaking, and the other reason was for her friend Naruto. Sasuke was looking at Hiruzen. His sharingan was active, and the only thing he needed was answers. A few more footsteps were heard, and soon more people rushed in the room. They were none other than Shikamaru, Ino, Choji, Kiba, Hinata, Shino and Asuma. Kakashi-sensei, what is going on? Asked Hinata worriedly. Ever since she heard the news that her Naruto-kun was labeled a missing nin, she felt scared. Even after being casted into the side branch, she never blamed Naruto for this. She had realized her mistake and was now working with Neji to improve her skills, and prove to Naruto-kun that she was a good shinobi too. Surprisingly, Neji had become a lot more helpful to her. When she was in the main branch, he gave her disrespectful looks and taunts, but now as she worked as a member of the side branch with the cursed seal on her head, Neji had warmed up to her. Some good had come out of this unfortunate incident, as she had got her brother back. Neji was also helping her improve her skills, and she really hoped to make everyone proud in the Chunin exams. Ino rushed towards Sakura and grabbed her hurriedly. She had a worried look in her eyes as Naruto was a very close friend of hers too. Sakura, is this true? Asked Ino fearfully. Sakura looked in her friend's eyes. What could she say? The entire village had already accepted Naruto as a traitor. There must be strong evidence against him if the Hokage had labeled him a traitor. Only a handful people believed he was innocent. And almost all of them were present in this room, if one excluded the Ichiraku family, Iruka, and the Hokage's family. I don't know, Ino. I don't know, said Sakura gently. Shikamaru and Shino stood beside Sasuke quietly. Shino appeared to be calm, but if one could see carefully, there was a little sweat on his forehead showing he was worried too. That troublesome Naruto. He always drags us in some kind of mess, said Shikamaru tiredly. Kiba smacked Shikamaru harshly on the head, and yelled at him furiously. You lazy ass, he is our friend and I won't believe he committed such a genocide, said Kiba harshly. Asuma looked at Kurenai. She looked broken and was just standing there quietly. He went towards her but was stopped when Kakashi put a hand on his shoulder, and whispered silently in his ears. Asuma, if you don't want to die a painful death, leave her alone right now, said Kakashi mysteriously. Asuma looked at the masked man curiously, but then his eyes widened in shock as he saw Kurenai had gripped her hands so tightly that blood was leaking from them now. She's pissed, thought Asuma worriedly. Choji was standing beside Anko. Everyone was talking with someone except Kurenai, and he decided to talk to the person next to him. Anko-sensei, said Choji slowly. He knew the woman had a very bad temper and didn't want her to vent out her anger at him. What? Snapped Anko furiously. Choji took a few steps back, and now stood beside Ino, who smacked him on the forehead. Never mind, said Choji tiredly. Anko looked away and Choji now had to listen to Ino's loud shouts as he had accidentally stepped over her leg. Everyone started talking with each other, as they all wanted to know what the hell was going on, and if any of them knew something. After a few moments, the pressure in the room increased as a large key flared in the entire room. All the genins, including Sasuke and Sakura, collapsed from the pressure and were now lying flat on the ground. Even the Junins were feeling very uncomfortable with so much ki. Everyone looked at the Hokage and the Anbu commander, expecting any one of them to be the source of such killing intent. But both the men were sitting calmly. Hiruzen had a surprised look on his face and was looking in the center of the room. Everyone's eyes widened in shock, as the ki was of Kurenai, and the look in her eyes was murderous. Will you idiots shut up? Yelled Kurenai angrily. Kurenai, said Anko in shock, as she had never seen her so angry and dangerous. Kakashi took the cue, as he realized Kurenai had reached the limit of her patience, and he had to start the conversation quickly. Fortunately, all the genin in the room were not stupid. Even Kiba shut his mouth and were now standing up slowly as Kurenai stopped her ki, but still was glaring at Hiruzen seriously. Hokage-sama, we request you to tell us what is going on, asked Kakashi curtly. A few moments ago he had been overburdened due to his emotions, but still Hiruzen was his leader, and if he disrespected him, he could surely be killed. A tired sigh escaped from Hiruzen's lips and he rubbed his forehead with his hands. Make the preparations, said Hiruzen stoically. Hi, said the Anbu commander firmly, and vanished in an instant. Hiruzen then looked at his subordinates. He knew they were heartbroken, and what he was about to do would shatter all their beliefs, especially Kurenai. But he had a feeling Kurenai would survive this harsh time. He had to hand it to Naruto. Even in such a situation, he had formed a devious plan to help Kurenai cope up with her depression, and fulfill his own objectives too. That boy was one bloody son of a bitch. I will answer all your questions, as I'm fully aware of what you are going through. But I ask all of you to ask questions one at a time, said Hiruzen gently. Everyone nodded, and Kurenai soon stepped forward and looked at Hiruzen. Hokage-sama, Naruto is innocent. There has to be some misunderstanding, pleaded Kurenai. Hiruzen's heart really broke. The thing he was about to do was a grave sin. He was totally going to erase the kind and gentle Naruto from these people's mind, and replace it with a monster. Damn you, Tobirama-sensei, thought Hiruzen angrily. He felt ashamed of doing this. Every fiber in his body was telling him not to do this. But for the sake of many, a few soldiers have to be sacrificed. It was the same in the past, it was the same right now, and it would be the same in the future. This world was truly merciless. I'm afraid, you are wrong, Kurenai. It was Naruto, said Hiruzen gravely. Kurenai quickly came forward and slammed her hands on his desk roughly, and looked at him angrily. How can you say this? You know Naruto. He can never do such a genocide, less his own comrades. He fought for all of us for years, despite what the village did to him. Yelled Kurenai angrily. Hiruzen put his hand on Kurenai's hand and looked at her sympathetically. The Naruto you knew. All of us knew was nothing but an illusion, said Hiruzen sadly. What do you mean? Asked Ino curiously. In order to make you understand, you must first know the truth about Naruto's life, said Hiruzen slowly. Hokage-sama, said Kakashi, Anko, Asuma and Kurenai in shock. Even Sasuke and Sakura were shocked. Was he really going to tell Naruto's truth to the rest of the people now? It seems Naruto had some dark secrets, said Shikamaru sharply. I don't understand, said Kiba in confusion. My bugs always felt something strange about him. It was as if he was dangerous, as if he had something dark hidden in him, said Shino calmly. He indeed had some theories but didn't want to speak without any proof. You're correct, Aburame Shino. Naruto had something evil in him, said Hiruzen firmly. Please explain it in simple words, requested Choji. All this mystery was bugging him. Hiruzen took in a deep breath. It was time when Naruto's burden was revealed to his friends. What I'm about to tell you is an S-rank secret, which no one of you shall utter without my permission. The penalty for breaking this law is execution of you as well as your entire family, said Hiruzen strictly. All the genins took a step back in fear, as Hiruzen leaked some key to make his point clear. What kind of secret is this, could it be? Thought Shikamaru in confusion. He thought everything he knew about Naruto, his fake smiles, the day he beat Sasuke so badly. That day he had realized Naruto had something dark in him, Shino's bug's reaction to Naruto's presence, and all the glares Naruto received whenever Shikamaru was with him. What was Naruto's birthday again? Asked Shikamaru quickly. Hiruzen looked surprised. It seemed Shikaku's son was as sharp as him. October 10th, said Hiruzen calmly, and gave Shikamaru a knowing look. Shikamaru's eyes widened in shock, as he understood the entire situation. One look in the Hokage's eyes showed him that his theory was true. He looked at his side, and Shino was giving him the same look, indicating he had come to the same conclusion as well. Looking at the down faces of Kakashi, Anko, Asuma, Kurenai, and even Sasuke and Sakura shocked him further. So, you knew it too, Sakura, Sasuke, said Shino flatly. Sakura looked at the Aburame, and answered in a sad voice. Yes, we know, said Sakura simply, while Sasuke just gave a nod. Naruto had already told them that he had the Kyuubi sealed in him, when they were made a team and he was appointed as the leader. Can somebody tell me what is going on? Asked Kiba irritatingly. What do you children know about the Kyuubi incident that happened 14 to 15 years ago? Asked Hiruzen sharply. Only that the fourth Hokage defeated the Kyuubi but had to sacrifice his life too, said Hinata simply. It's a lie, isn't it, Hokage-sama? Asked Shino flatly. What, Shino? If that is a lie, what happened to the Kyuubi and why this is related to Naruto? Asked Ino curiously. A tailed beast can never be killed, much less the Kyuubi. There is only one way to stop them, said Kakashi slowly. What is the way? Asked Choji curiously. They are sealed away. But it is not any object, it requires a living vessel in case of the Kyuubi, as it is the most powerful tailed beast in the world, said Kurenai sadly. All the genin's eyes widened in shock, as a very horrible feeling started developing in their gut. The nine-tailed fox is sealed inside of Naruto, by the fourth Hokage, said Hiruzen, shocking the remaining rookies. All of their eyes were wide in shock. Shikamaru and Shino were less shocked than the others, but that didn't mean that they were not moved by these news. This can't be true, said Hinata sadly. Even more tears came in her eyes as she now realized how much Naruto must have suffered. It's horrible, said Ino in fear. She never wished such a fate even on her enemy, much less one of her best friend. Kiba's anger increased as he now understood why people glared at Naruto. They were stupid. How could they compare his friend with that monster fox? Inuzuka valued friendship the most, and Naruto was his good friend, and he had been done injustice. Why? Asked Kiba angrily. What do you mean? Asked Hiruzen curiously. Why was that beast sealed in my friend? Asked Kiba angrily. If the Nine Tails was sealed in an adult, Naruto wouldn't have to suffer so much. It's all your fault. Do you Hokages think you are God? What right do you have to this? Yelled Sasuke angrily. Everyone was quite shocked by Sasuke's outburst. Never in their entire lives had they seen him so much angry. The Nine Tails cannot be sealed in an adult, it would kill the person instantly. Only a child whose chakra coils have not been developed can contain the Kyuubi, said Hiruzen seriously. But why Naruto? Why not anyone else? Asked Kurenai with tears in her eyes. It's because his own father considered him fit to bear this burden. And only trusted Naruto to wield the power of the Nine Tails to protect Konoha. Said Hiruzen, shocking everyone in the room. Each and every person in the room except Kakashi had their mouths wide open, their eyes were wide as saucers, they couldn't believe what they just heard. Kurenai felt as if the ground beneath her had just shattered. She had her doubts, but Naruto's face mask always prevented her to look at his face clearly. Only recently, when they had sex, she was clearly able to see the similarities between Naruto and the fourth Hokage. No way, said Ino in shock. The fourth is his father, said Kurenai in fear. It meant Naruto knew everything. She couldn't imagine how horrible he must have felt when he had realized his own father condemned him to a life of hell. But how could the Yondaime do such a thing to his son? Asked Hinata angrily. He was a hero. Said Shikamaru sadly. Even he looked up to the fourth. But now every respect he had for the man had been lost. No matter what reason the Yondaime had, Shikamaru could never stand for what he did to Naruto. In this world, there are no heroes. The Kages are the people who have to make tough choices, and the Yondaime considered Naruto, because he could not put such a burden on another child, said Hiruzen sadly. Hiruzen was quite shocked when Kurenai grabbed him roughly and slammed him against the wall. Kurenai, said Anko worriedly and immediately tried to stop her friend. I don't care what you Hokages have to face. Did the fourth even ask my Naruto before he sealed the beast in him? All of you are monsters. Yelled Kurenai with tears in her eyes. It took Kakashi and Anko's combined efforts to get Kurenai off Hiruzen, and now Anko had pinned her to the ground and was now sitting on top of her. She felt bad for doing this to Kurenai. Her friend was yelling at her to let her go, but she didn't want Kurenai to get into more trouble and was restraining her. He wanted Naruto to be seen as a hero for keeping the Kyuubi at bay, said Hiruzen comfortingly. Kakashi snorted on hearing that. A hero. The villagers considered Naruto the opposite. Now I see why you adopted him. You were the fourth's only remaining student, and were a family to him, said Anko tactically. Hi, said Kakashi tiredly. Before any further heated argument could escalate, and they got off topic. Asuma decided to step in. This is indeed sad news. But Hokage-sama, Naruto did not bore any hatred towards this village, the will of fire burned brightly in him, said Asuma curiously. Hiruzen looked at his son, even the others still were not believing, and now came the hard part. The door to the office opened again, and a person walked in that shocked Ino the most. It was none other than Inoichi Yamanaka, the head of the Yamanaka clan and a skilled interrogator. "San, what are you doing here?" asked Ino curiously. He will show you what the villagers did to Naruto, before Kakashi adopted him. It would make you understand that Naruto hates every person in Konoha, said Hiruzen tactfully. But how? Asked Choji curiously. Inochi was Naruto's counselor during his childhood and looked after his mental health, said Hiruzen patiently. Is this true? Asked Ino curiously. Inoichi looked at his daughter. He really felt bad about revealing her friend's dark secret to her. Ino's beliefs would be shattered, but he had been ordered by Hiruzen to show this to the people in the room. But he knew all of this was fishy. Why was the Hokage going to so far ends to make these people believe that Naruto was a traitor? Putting that thoughts aside, he motioned everyone to connect each other's hands and stand in a circle. Now I'm going to show you some of Naruto's memories. If it becomes too painful, just leave your hand, said Inoichi comfortingly. Kurenai hurriedly grabbed Anko's hand. She didn't know what had happened to Naruto that had changed him so much, and she would find out no matter what. Are you ready? Asked Inoichi firmly. Everyone nodded, and Inoichi started his jutsu, and for the next few minutes, all the people watched how Naruto's early childhood was. The glares, the insults, the isolation. The beatings, all of it. When the jutsu ended, all the girls had tears coming from their eyes. Could people do such a thing to a child? Sasuke's hands were clenched tightly, his eyes were shut. He had enough, there was nothing left now. He got up and started walking towards the exit of the room, but Sakura's voice stopped him. Sasuke, where are you going? Asked Sakura sadly. Tears were still falling for her eyes. Sasuke looked at his friend. All this pain, all this suffering, he and Naruto were the same. They knew the pain of being alone, and still Naruto had stood by him. He didn't care that whether Naruto did that on purpose or not. He did not care whether Naruto wanted revenge or not. That's my boy. Work hard and you will bring glory to the clan. All your father ever talks about is you. We love you, Sasu-chan. I'm always going to be there for you, even if it's just as an obstacle for you to overcome. Even if you do hate me, that's what big brothers are for. You and I are brothers. You can count on me, Sasuke. All these voices rang in his mind. The pain became unbearable. His heartbeat increased and his chest felt heavy. Chu-san, Ka-san, Itachi, Naruto, thought Sasuke sadly. Everything was gone, only he was left. All alone. Tears slipped from his eyes, and he clenched his hands tightly and suppressed the scream in his throat. He looked back at Sakura. He knew she had feelings for him. All the others were also looking at him and the tears in his eyes. Sakura. This place, this world. I don't care about it anymore, said Sasuke darkly and left the room. He walked down the dark hallways. The only thing he felt was despair. But something in him had changed. Chu-san, Ka-san, Itachi, Naruto. I will create a world where there is no suffering. His eyes snapped open and instead of a regular sharingan there was a round circle with 3 short ends connected to the sides. Sasuke Uchiha had fallen to the Uchiha's curse of hatred.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, as well as checking out the author on fanfiction.net.